that file. Throw that. Aiko one day. Throw that. Chakamutinani. Throw that. My DJ, your DJ. They say aiko one day. Throw that. Chakamutinani. That file. Throw that. My grandma, your pirate. They sat down on a bio. My grandma say you're pirate. I set this camp on fire. Talk about it now. Aiko one day. Laissez-les bons qu'on roule me shy because I could do this all day. I could do this all day. Back to the hometown. I-10 westbound. Show 'em what I'm talking about. Show 'em like this. It's that 225. It's that 318. That 504. That overdrive. Little pond, big fish. One shot, don't miss. Heard it like this before. Back to the dance floor.
Hey, you want to take a picture by the car?
No, thank you. Who you talking to? Cause I know it ain't me.
Tried it.
Girl. Oh, no, ma'am. No, sir. He's acting like we work for him. He ain't my boss. Oh, mama don't even try to tell me what to do anymore. Since I've been 15 years old, I've been paying my own bills and doing my own taxes. So you need to relax.
I don't work for you. You seem to be very confused. You not the boss of me. Seem to be very confused. If you think that you gon' tell me what to do, oh baby boy, you must be so very confused. Everybody's freaking out 'cause something's wrong with you. And there is something very wrong with you. Something wrong with you. There is something very wrong with you.
Fast like lightning, harder than a hurricane. I bring the thunder, I'm dancing in the pouring rain. If you try to fight me, dishonor on your family name. Oh, I think they like me, world will never be the same. IQ billion, patience zero. Did you ever meet a modern day hero? Hold up, wait, whoa, put the flavor on it. Why you frontin' on me, boy? I'm your daddy favorite.
Little bad boy, look at you now. King for a day, you are wearing the crown. King for a day, you are wearing the crown. You really might have made your daddy proud. You really might have made your daddy proud. Y'all never thought he would come back around. You never thought he would. Here it is though, having a cloud, blowing it now, building it up, just burning all down. Always a game, totally shameless. Pawns all fall down. Coming back for you. Coming back to you. I wrote this song in A minor. Get it? 'Cause tricks aren't for kids. Now bad boy, what you gon' do? Now bad boy, what you gon' do? Feds all out here looking for
they blew it all now, built it up to burn it down, and playing a game that you never could win. Pawns all fall, every promise you broke, every lie that you spoke, coming back for you. Every time that you prayed, every move that you made, coming back to you.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. About it. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Thought it was a bad boy.
They think I'm fragile, but I roll so loud, carrying this life. I work so proud. The judge sees fire behind my stare. Just as a woman, I'm her heir. I'm dancing in my skin, fierce as can be. You can't break a heart that's built a legacy. Your lies like smoke, they blur and fade, but truth's the anthem this mama's played. I testify for love, not fear. Your bad boy ways have no place here. I'll raise my truth like the gavel falls. You can't hush this lioness is called. Lioness is called. Lioness is called. Those rings on your neck is leaving that I was born with. I still need it. No reason on my hand ain't never. No, I'll never reach that. So I need up. I testify for love, not fear. Your bad boy ways have no place here. I'll raise my truth like the gavel falls. You can't hush this lioness is called. Lioness is called. Lioness is called.
Again, I do it every day. I do it every day, every single day. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. How are you doing this fine Thursday? Hello, hello, hello. It's because when I'm playing that video, I mute it. So like when I'm like fiddling around with my cup and stuff, y'all don't hear it. Dicey. She said when you can tell she's speaking from her soul and it's killing yours, not having a clue. I sure wish we could have heard what she said. I know. I was just saying, how am I feeling? Still sick, but you know, the famous Southern proverb. I don't know if it's a famous Southern proverb, but it is a Southern proverb. Don't matter how you feel, it only matters how you look. Okay, and nobody's gonna tell me I don't look good because I already know I do. So, yeah, I don't need no audio to do my thing. Yes, actually I do. Y'all tell me when my audio. No, I'm not feeling better. I feel really bad. I do not feel good. But I'm here. I'm here. You don't make it from the trailer park to the Ivy League by staying in your bed when you don't feel good. You know what I mean? So just having a pull back on that. All right. So what's going on? It's 8:59, Thursday, May 29th. We're here for the United States versus John Combs. Slay T times 3. Y'all are funny. Yeah, we're nearly at the week of end 3, nearly at the end of end 3. No, we're not. We are nearly at the end of week 3 of testimony. This is technically week 4 of trial. So, the first week was jury selection, and then now we are here, on Thursday for the second to last day of the third week of testimony. I think we're on our 16th witness now, maybe 17. We've been going through them. Now, yesterday we did listen to Deontay Nash. Yeah. He was a stylist. He used to work for Diddy. He also used to work with Cassie, and it appears that he might have actually worked with Cassie a lot longer than Diddy. Like, he kept working with Cassie. That's what I remember. Y'all, I've been having like, I mean, I didn't take the little test and stuff because I don't really want to know, really. Uh, but I have reason to believe I might be having the C19. That's not the C25. Okay, so I've been mostly just in my house and going outside during the breaks, get a little sunshine, come back on here. So just bear with me. I know my voice is sounding a little bit congested. My apologies if I have to cough. I mean, I know I don't work for y'all, but it just bothers me a lot whenever I'm watching somebody and they always coughing and they always sniffing and stuff. It's very aggravating to me. I have that thing where that aggravates me or whatever. But that being said, I really can't help it. And the show must go on, as they say. So, isn't that a song? So already the show going on, right? Who is that? Is that Mace? Who is that? Everybody getting up and then I see the summer and all about getting the show go. Somebody put in the chat, please. That's gonna drive me crazy. Thank you so much to Sunshine Bunny for the $10 super sticker. First super sticker of the day. Thank you to Nettie Daisy. Shout out to you being a member for 13 months. You really had me cackling the other day when you accidentally said Scheisse. If you ever want to practice your German with a cousin, I'm here. Listen, I need to. I have not spoken German in about 8 years. I'm minor. Do y'all know I'm minor? I'm a German minor. And it's not because I, thought I would be exceptional at German. Actually, I was not very good at it. But the way they had it set up at LSU, where I went to college, undergrad, is that if you took German, if you wanted to take Spanish or French, they would place you based on what you had taken in high school. I took a lot of Spanish classes in high school, but I mean, I didn't go to that good of a high school. It wasn't good. So it was like, they were trying to place me where people were speaking Spanish. And I'm like, oh, girl. I'm like, ¿Dónde está el baño, girl? I don't know. Shoot. Like, I can't do that. So I had to take a language where I started at the beginning. I almost thought about taking Russian because a lot of my powerlifting friends were in Russian. But Bobby Jindal was the governor at the time, and something he did ended up being where they cut a whole bunch of funding from the school, and the whole Russian department shut down. Still kind of think that would have been a useful language to learn, considering the orphanage thing we were just running across the other day. That being said, I did not take Russian. The next best thing was German, so I learned a little bit of Deutsche. Okay, I did go aus Deutschland one time, or nach aus. Never really did. I do remember the Dirk für gegen ohne Dirk für gegen ohne Now I don't remember that. And then we had the DDDD. They have so many these, y'all. In English, we just have the. Not in German. They have too much stuff over there. But yes, I do need to practice my German. I would like to refreshen up on that. Sometimes I do accidentally say Scheisse. That's the German curse word for the one it sounds like. Thanks so much, Shenanigan Stud Therapeutic Herd. Girl, what? Shenanigan Stud Therapeutic Herd. Is it like equine therapy? Thank you for the $1.99 super sticker. Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen. Iris, hope you feel better. Thank you for the €2 super chat. So, oh yeah, y'all, sometimes YouTube's not going to notify you. And I can't even like fully blame YouTube. Want to know why? Because think about if they notified you every time everyone you had a bell on was live. Like, it would be like you would be getting notifications all day, right? Wait, what am I doing? Oh, yeah. So make sure y'all just, like, come through. I'm gonna be going live every day, unless I'm, like, literally probably should be bedridden right now. I mean, I know it doesn't look like it, but girl. Oh, good morning von Deutschland. Guten Morgen, Anita. Oh, Lupe Fiasco. The show goes on? Okay. Hello, bonjour, 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 bonjour. From France. We got France in the chat. Y'all, it really does like give me a little serotonin, a little dopamine, a little whatever the chemical is whenever I see y'all from all over the world. Thanks so much for the 149 super chat. I did get started a little bit early today just because I feel like I just keep feeling like I just feel rushed when I get on here in the morning. Hold on. I'm going to get my screen up so we can at least start going through and see if anybody has said anything this morning about this trial. I know people in here from all over. Shout out to Mary. Thank you, Mary, for the $9.99 super chat. Holland here. Shout out to Holland. What do they say in Holland? What's hello? Hallo. Is it hallo? I know Dutch does sound similar to like Norwegian, right? And a little bit like English, a little bit like German, a little bit like Norwegian, like right in the middle. Is that right? Am I wrong? Hallo. Hallo. Holland. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. This is one of my favorite places on earth. Yucatan. I kind of want to live in Yucatan. I kind of want to live there like 6 months a year. I'm not lying. I really do. I like, the land of the free, home of the brave. This is my motherland, America, and all of that. Shout out to this little chunk of land. I love it. But like in my mind, like Mexico is kind of like my other motherland. Like really, I have like legitimate, literal, actual blood cousins in Mexico. I'll tell y'all my whole Mexico family bloodline break off later, but it basically was because my family did not know how to act, did not want to be loyal to the crown, and wanted to side with Mexico in a war. But anyway, okay. Yep. Shout out to Alabama, Tiger Bait, but shout out to y'all. Probably my cousins over there too. Uruguay. Oh my God, that sounds fun. Where's that? I should know. Oh my gosh. Yes. Shout out to Jamaica. Shout out to England. This is fun. Shout out to the Canadian cousins, especially the Acadians. Becca, I went to LSU, so of course I have a little rivalry or whatever, but Alabama and Mississippi are like the closest weather and stuff to like where I grew up. So it's very special. Nigeria in the chat. Shout out to you. How fun now. I lived in Tulum. Y'all are funny. Brazil. Come to Brazil. Okay. Anyway, shout out to Puerto Rico, especially Puerto Rico. I'm still in love with the hat that what's his name? Bad Bunny wore to the Met Gala. That thing was so cool. Mi abuela, first generation Mexican in America. Well, Carmen, we probably cousins, girl. We probably cousins. Shout out to Florida. Shout out to Thailand. Shout out to New Zealand. Shout out to Singapore. I know I got the cousins in Ireland. I know y'all see it in me. I got green eyes. That means I'm Irish, right? I mean, I'm American. I'm from Ugly, Ohio. Oh, in Ohio. Top of the morning to London. Oh, is that Irish? I know. We're all over the place. The cousins in Canada. Shout out to Australia. Y'all are cool. Shout out to Acadia. Okay, let's see what they're saying over here. Okay, they just got us some sketches. All right, let's see what they doing over here in the honestly, y'all, I am allergic. I have an allergic. It might be the COVID, but I have an allergic reaction to this man. I don't know why. I'm so biased against him. I don't like it. Something's wrong with it. Something is amiss. It's even when I talk about him, the top of my head right here starts to tingle. I don't know. Maybe it's the Holy Ghost, but something's telling me no with this man. Something's telling me no, and so I'm allergic. I'm allergic to even covering what he says. If you care what he says, go over there to somebody else's channel because I'm allergic. I developed an allergy to him. I reserve the right to change my mind. Right now I'm allergic. Shout out to Maryland. I was telling somebody this in the live chat yesterday, like before I was typing in it. Maryland has a very special place in my heart. It's one of my favorite places to go in the summer since I lived on the Northeast the last few years. And in that video that I play at the beginning of my video, the hometown Ico, like the Louisiana, like my grandma, your pa ran thing. A lot of that video is shot in Maryland, believe it or not, in the Chesapeake Bay, because I didn't get all the shots that I wanted. Like all the water shots pretty much are all in Maryland on the Chesapeake Bay because it reminds me of my home. So shout out to Maryland. Laura Lee said, I feel the same way about him. I don't like him either. Not quite sure why. Yep. It's the cousin tingles, y'all. Shout out to North Carolina. I like North Carolina even more now since that series, The White Lotus, but because the mom like really reminds me of my mom. Shout out to my mom in the chat. She does be coming in here. But North Carolina, that's where Duke is, and that's the first law school I got into. Like Duke University is this law school that made me for sure I was going to go to law school. So special place in my heart there as well. Shout out to Romania. Red, I forgot to ask my stepdad where he's from in Romania, but he is from there. See, I told you I got cousins everywhere. I just shared your channel with my mother-in-law. Well, shout out to Caroline, Mary's mother-in-law. I have been to West Virginia. I do think I would love it there, actually. I do want to come there. Okay. We have 21 minutes ago, CNN.com. An assistant identified as Mia is expected to testify today. The judge is on the bench. So the judge been sitting there. He ain't going to let me say he's late ever again. Okay. His behind is in that bench every day, 8:30. He's sitting there. He's waiting. He ain't going to let me say he's late ever again. Okay. Excuse me. When testimony resumes this morning, Deontay Nash, a stylist who worked for Diddy and Cassie and also was friends with Cassie, is expected to take the stand for a second day. The prosecutors have also said they plan to call a woman identified only as Mia. This is not her real name, okay? Her real name's something else. Some people, I think, do know. I think it got slipped in court. So I think the people that are in court know. But thankfully, I mean, for her identity and all of that, I don't think they've like let it leak yet. But this is somebody that used to work for Diddy. She's one of Diddy's former assistants. So we've heard from 2 former assistants already. They were men. We heard from David James. We heard from 3 former assistants. David James, George Kaplan, and Capricorn Clark. We heard from those 3 already. So now we're going to hear from a 4th one. Also, conveniently, this is victim 4, aka Mia, aka, we don't know her name. She's going by a pseudonym, but I think it's a lady, woman, female, whatever you want to call it, legally. She is one of his former assistants. Okay, the judge denied a request from the government to cut the video feed to the overflow courtroom for the duration of her testimony. Interesting. Interesting, y'all. Okay, they're not going to really be able to protect her identity. It's kind of just a little bit of a moot point, I think, because look at this. I didn't even see that this was a request. Although I did have the pacer up earlier, and maybe we can go look at that later. Oh, one of the whole reasons I came on here early, let me show y'all this. Remember yesterday we were talking about the aircraft? This is a federal site, the United States Department of Transportation. Love Air. We were talking about yesterday, Diddy's making all this money on Love Air while he's in prison, or excuse me, while he's in jail and holding. Well, shout out to whoever it was sent me this email. I actually did not come up with this idea on my own. Someone did send me a link to a similar United States Department of Transportation website, but shout out to that person who sent me that on my email. If you have any tips like this, I don't like, and I will not release private stuff that I don't want exclusives. I do not want exclusive. I only want to talk about stuff public, but this is a public record. So, they got a Rolls-Royce jet. And what I think is interesting is there is a plane registered to Love Air, a GVSP G550, which I do believe is the same type that we were reading about. It was manufactured 10 years ago, but look, it is registered The registered owner is Love Air LLC, which has Lou Taylor / TriStar Sports and Entertainment's address. Okay, so this is a TriStar Sports and Entertainment address. That is Lou Taylor. That is the address of the owner of the jet. So remember when I was saying, well, who's renting out the jet? I still don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't know the first thing about how to rent a jet even, much less who's renting it out. But the owner of the jet is Love Air LLC, which has an address of TriStar Sports and Entertainment. So I'm sure there's some more information in here that you could glean if you want to pause. I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at. It's like a registration of some sort, but they're showing us who the owner is. Okay, so I wanted to do that. Let's go to Inner City Press and see if he's started tweeting yet. Yeah, he has 20 minutes ago. Okay. Now we're talking about a scrapbook. So this is before the jury comes in, 18 minutes ago. Before the jury even came in, Diddy's lawyers are saying the articles in the scrapbook are not being offered for the truth. So they're trying to put up something from a scrapbook. Diddy's lawyers are. The feds are like, the article says that Diddy wanted to get to the bottom of Biggie's unaliving, but, quote, the feds are investigating us. They've been trying to get this in, Your Honor. Y'all, there's some stuff about Biggie's unaliving in here. There is some stuff about Biggie's unaliving in here. Okay. So it looks like what's going on is that Diddy and his lawyers what is their theory of the case? What is their theory of the case? That all the S acts were consensual, that Diddy is getting discriminated against because he's a black man and he's rich and powerful. And if he was white, he wouldn't be discriminated against like this. And the feds just have it out for him, right? These are the different angles that he's tried to go. So here, he's trying to get in some article from a scrapbook that says, quote, the feds are investigating us. The judge said, yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you. If this went back to the jury room as evidence, it could make it look like the prosecution is just out to get Diddy, which isn't true because the feds never investigated Diddy for that or whatever. I'm kind of filling in some of the blanks because, I mean, you can just look at what I'm looking at here. This is the only information I have. Put Biggie 333 in the chat if y'all want me to go over the unsealed, declassified FBI files on the Biggie case. I mean, there's a lot. There's like hundreds of pages if the last time I recall, but Biggie 333. Okay. The assistant U.S. attorney said, oh, okay, wait. So the judge is like, if we send this back to the jury room as evidence, it might actually be prejudicial to the prosecution. But maybe we could just let jurors just kind of like look at it and glean it as a demonstrative. And the feds are like, if they even so much as flip through this book, this scrapbook, if it's passed around, we want the judge to come out and say, don't take that into consideration about what they're saying about the feds are watching us. The feds are investigating us. Okay. Judge says, who is going to be cross-examining Mia? That's the assistant, the pseudonym assistant. And it's going to be Brian Steele. So breaking news, everybody. Brian Steele is going to be cross-examining Mia. And then Brian Steele pipes up and he says, well, what if we just take out the part? What if we just redact the part about Biggie's unaliving? The judge said it's more than that. Do you concede that the articles are not relevant to this case? It's more than that. You concede the articles are not relevant to this case. It's that the scrapbook was just put together. The judge said, you've been given some leeway, so I'll leave it to you. Brian Steele said, I don't want to waive the issue, so thank you. The judge said, Okay, there's also an objection to some social media posts. I'm gonna overrule that objection. The social media posts are coming in. What are these about? I don't know. Maybe this is something that was put in last night. I can go and check the docket just to make sure I'm not missing something huge. Let me pull the docket up. Combs, Sean. Okay. So it looks like the most recent things that were filed, there's only been one thing that hit the docket today. Uh, I did go over several of these others. Already. So I think this may be like just emails to the judge or something. I'm not exactly sure based on this. See, the 371, the second most recent thing filed on the docket has to do with Mark Agnifilo asking if he and Diddy and the lawyers can have like a room in the courthouse until 10 p.m. every night. And then this one right here, the most recent one, the only one on the docket for today, May 29th, was the government's response to Diddy trying to get Dr. Dawn Hughes's testimony removed and taken out of the trial. So I don't know. I don't know what exactly they're talking about. So I'm just going to try and piece it together, but I need to give you that caveat. All right, so we're talking about Biggie being unalived in a scrapbook. Okay, there's a scrapbook. The scrapbook has some articles in it. Now, what is this reminding me of? It's reminding me of the bins that they recovered from Keefe D's house. Keefe D is the person on trial or awaiting trial right now for the unaliving of Tupac, which is related, of course, to this Biggie thing. Whenever they went through his stuff, whenever they executed the search warrant, they did find bins. I think it was like Rubbermaid bins full of articles about Tupac's unaliving. So here we're like looking at some type of evidence, some type of scrapbook having to do with Biggie's unaliving, and the scrapbook says we want to get to the bottom of it, but the feds are watching us. The feds are investigating us. The judge is like, yeah, I could see how that's like not something we want the jury to see, like, because if it's not true or whatever, who's going to be cross-examining Mia? It's going to be Brian Steele. Well, what if Steele is like, okay, well, what if we put the part about Biggie's unaliving away? Like, what if we redact that part? The judge is like, it's more than that. The articles are not relevant in this case, but it's just the whole scrapbook, the fact that it was even put together. You've been given some leeway, the judge says, so I'll leave it to you. The attorney says, well, I don't want to waive the issue, so I want to keep it open to where, I don't want to say, no, I'm just waiving it. I'm going to, let's handle it more later. The judge is like, okay, fine. Moving on from the scrapbook. What about the social media posts? Somebody objected to putting social media posts in, but I'm going to overrule it. You know what? I wonder if this is going to come in. I wonder if this has something to do with Christian Combs. There's something about a song, like, do you remember when he wrote his song and it was like the feds investigated us like we're dealing substances, but really we're only dealing songs, and too bad they didn't even investigate the right house. They didn't even raid the right house. It was the house next door and they missed it. Like, I don't know. I just feel like that's going to come back somehow. If you're wondering why I'm doing this, it's not actually to put makeup on my face. It's to scratch my nose because I have allergies and I'm also very sick. Okay. So the judge said they're objecting to some social media posts. I don't know who. He just, look, you're just reading right here. The social media posts, there's an objection. I overrule it. So moving on, now there's some text messages. The judge says, my sense is there are parts in the threads that are hearsay. Then the feds pipe up and say, Your Honor, they're trying to show that the defendant was going through some heavy SHIT, and that's why he's asking this way. The judge, what the hell? The judge said, what about her smelling her own armpit? The assistant U.S. attorney said, okay, I don't think that's relevant. We can leave out the smelling her own armpit part. So what the hell? Who's smelling her own armpit? Girl, what? Okay. At 8:55, the defense sent me a slew of messages about Deontay Nash that they think should be excluded. Okay. So remember last week, whenever the judge gave a special order, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, I don't remember now. But the judge basically said at the beginning of the trial that there's certain things that have to be done, certain things that have to be taken care of, certain order that things have to be done, and a timeline stuff has to be done on. And the judge said, if you don't do stuff on a certain timeline, you're going to waive your right to do it. So this stuff included, for example, like objections to witnesses or just witnesses at all. Like you can't just last minute like ambush. You can't just last minute be like, oh, I object to everything that they're trying to show today. The judge's like, no, you're going to waive your right to do that if you don't do it by like 10 p.m. the night before or whatever. I mean, he had a whole little setup, like he had a whole little schedule thing. So y'all can go and check the that video out. But the assistant U.S. attorney said at 8:55 this morning, Your Honor, like 5 minutes ago, I just got a bunch of text messages from Diddy's team about Deontay Nash. And okay. And the assistant U.S. attorney is saying these should be excluded. We haven't even had time to go through these. We haven't even had time to look through these. And then the judge looks over at Xavier Donaldson and goes, Mr. Donaldson, what are these text messages? He said, we only want 2 of these photos in. The rest of them are in there just in case we need to impeach his character. The assistant U.S. attorney said, okay, I was told about the 2 photos last night, so that's fine. Okay, so impeachment evidence comes in whenever you are introducing evidence to directly contradict something that the witness has said in order to make it look like maybe they are not trustworthy or credible. All right, let's go and see if he said anything else. Okay, so they're going to introduce 2. Okay, so they're done arguing about evidentiary issues. 7 minutes ago, we get another tweet. The judge says, bring back Mr. Nash and then bring in the jury. So now we're having the witnesses in the stand as the jury, before the jury. So Mr. Nash comes back in, then the jury. The assistant attorney said, we have rebooked this witness's flight for 2 p.m. today, so we're hoping he'll be off the stand in time to make his flight. All rise. Mr. Donaldson, excuse me. Xavier Donaldson, which is Diddy's lawyer, says, how are you? Deontay Nash says, blessed. All right, Defense Exhibit 1806. We have some text messages from you. What was Capricorn Clark's role in 2011 on the mixtape? Deontay said she was gone. Okay, fine. So what did she work on when she was there? I don't know. Maybe the photo shoot you guys showed yesterday. I learned a lot from Capricorn, actually. Next question. Do you recall a picture of Cassie and green hair? Did she have a green wig on one time? Okay. Do you recall a picture of Cassie in green hair? Deontay Nash, the former stylist, said, yeah, that was a group idea. I walked the carpet with Cassie in New York at the VMAs. It was a curated look. And you had to get approval? He said, yep, from Diddy. You say, this is the next question from Diddy's lawyer. This is the cross-examination. You say Diddy was kicking Cassie on the ground. The unfortunate eye gash incident, correct? Yeah. But you didn't tell the prosecutors that she was kicked while bleeding. He said, they didn't ask. I only answered what they asked. He's good. He's good. He's good. He's good. All right, we got an update from CNN. So this is interesting too, y'all. We're probably going to end up finding out who Mia is. Why? Because the prosecutors wanted Mia to not be shown on the jury overflow room. They wanted to not have the cameras. So there's not the jury overflow room, the regular overflow room. So there's the main courtroom where all of this is happening. But then other than the main courtroom where all of this is happening, there's like some side rooms or a side room where more people can sit. It's not the actual official courtroom, but there's TVs and speakers in there. So you can hear and you can see everything this person is saying and you can see them. So if this is like an identifiable person that people are going to recognize, then they're going to be able to see her, even the people outside of the courtroom, the people in the overflow room. Now, according to CNN, the prosecutors did try to cut that video feed to the overflow room, but the judge said no, he does not want to do that, and he's not letting that happen. So the judge said anyone in an overflow room can be in a main courtroom if there was sufficient space. Thank you. He understands the Constitution this time. So the video feed stays on. We have another update. The defense resumes cross-examination of the celebrity stylist. Back on the stand, the jury is entering now. Defense attorney Xavier Donaldson is continuing the cross-examination. We have updates from Washington Post. Oh, wow. Nice. Okay. So I have a breaking news update. This morning, the judge apparently has decided on the Dr. Dawn Hughes testimony. Breaking news. Defense fails to get psychologist's testimony tossed as junk science. Diddy wanted to get Dawn Hughes' testimony tossed out as junk science. Diddy's lawyers couldn't get the judge to strike forensic psychologist Dawn Hughes' testimony this morning. Dr. Hughes testified last week as an expert witness. She didn't speak about anyone specifically involved in the trial, but she did explain the general behavior and coping strategies of domestic violence victims. Prosecutors clearly hoped the jury would connect her testimony with their star witness, Cassie, who testified that she endured years of abuse while in a relationship with Diddy. Diddy's defense called parts of Dr. Hughes' testimony junk science in their motion to strike her testimony. They wanted to get rid of all of her testimony. Specifically, they referred to the psychologist's comments about how victims may remember certain parts of traumatic events more vividly than others. The judge rejected Diddy's argument and his lawyer's argument as a, quote, indictment of the entire field of psychology, which I mean, in denying the defense's motion. However, he did tell prosecutors to be careful about how they refer to Dr. Hughes' testimony during their closing argument. So he gave them a warning. So we had 44 minutes ago, they also told us what Diddy is wearing. The court is running a little behind Thursday morning. The judge just entered about 10 minutes behind schedule. Diddy was back in his sweater and white collared shirt combo. He was deep in conversation with Mark Agnifilo before the judge came to the bench. The morning should see the conclusion of the cross-examination of celebrity stylist Deontay Nash, who was clearly less than enthused to be in court yesterday. He testified repeatedly he did not want to be there, and he was only obeying a government subpoena. 10 minutes ago, Anne Brannigan, Washington Post. The government is expected to call another alleged victim of Diddy to the stand today, a woman who worked as an assistant to Diddy and who will use the pseudonym Mia in court. Alongside Cassie, Mia is one of a handful of the government's witnesses whose accusations go to the heart of the government's case. So this is like, other than Cassie, like someone who we have been preparing to be like another star witness, because this is one of the actual statutory named victims alleged, innocent until proven guilty. While the jury is out of the room, this was 10 minutes ago, the court is discussing her upcoming testimony, particularly some evidence that the defense wants to introduce during cross-examination. Celebrity Stylist, 8 minutes ago, back on the stand, this time wearing a puffy jacket and loose jeans. He complained about the frigid temperature in the courtroom yesterday, and he wasn't the first to do so. It's funny because y'all know Diddy likes it hot. All right, so now we're on NBC. 39 minutes ago, court is now in session for day 12 of Diddy's trial. The judge ordered no sketches of this witness. He denied the government's bid to cut all sound and video of the key prosecution witness, Mia, but he did order a ban against courtroom sketches of victim 4. Assistant U.S. Attorney Madison Smizer had asked for video and audio of her testimony not to be shown in the courthouse overflow room, but the judge said it would actually be improper to totally keep Mia's testimony from getting out of his courtroom, though he did agree to ban sketches of her in a similar fashion to the standing prohibition against jurors being drawn. 3 minutes ago, this is NBC News, Adam Rice, Ying Feng, and David K. Lee. The witness admitted he didn't initially tell prosecutors that Cassie had allegedly been kicked by Diddy in one particular attack that he witnessed. He said he was just wanting to answer the questions in the most narrow way possible. He said, "They didn't ask. I gave as little as possible, and I only answered what I was asked." Fair? Fair? Okay. Less than a minute ago, we get another update from CNN. Diddy's staff told Deontay Nash, that Cassie and Diddy had broken up when she began dating Kid Cudi in 2011. He said that people who worked for Diddy told him at the time that Cassie and Diddy had broken up when she started dating Kid Cudi. See, they tried to make it seem like Cassie played Kid Cudi and Diddy by cheating on Diddy with Kid Cudi. But Cassie said that they were on a break. And now we're getting that corroborated. Not only did Cassie say they were on a break, but Deontay Nash believed they were on a break as well. And why did he believe that? Well, because Diddy's staff told him. So it does seem like people did believe they were broken up. Okay. 7 minutes ago, we are on Inner City Press. I have his Twitter linked below in my description box if you want to go follow along as well. Make sure you go and support him, subscribe and follow and all that. Okay, next question. Do you know? Okay, and look how he's asking it. You know Cassie was in a relationship with Kid Cudi while she was in a relationship with Diddy? Deontay Nash goes, "Oh, okay. You didn't know that?" "No, I thought her and Puff had broken up." Cassie was in South Africa. So this is Diddy's lawyer. Cassie was in South Africa and you were at the Revolt conference in Miami, correct? He said, "Yeah. I was there to style Lil' Kim." So yeah, I put her together with Michael B. Jordan. I mean, he fine, she fine, why not? The judge said, hold on, wait, hold on. He don't like Deontay, the judge. He's like, stop cutting up in my courtroom. So Gina was in Miami too? Diddy's lawyer said, no. You don't put that on me. They kept me away from seeing Gina. So Cassie got upset? Yeah. Cassie said, why does he keep humiliating me and my career? So she was upset. Well, not really. This is confusing. So let's just read those last two tweets again. This is Diddy's lawyer. Question. So Cassie was in South Africa and you were at the Revolt conference in Miami, right? Yes. Nash says, I was there to style Lil' Kim. I put her together with Michael B. Jordan. He's fine, she's fine, why not? The judge is like, okay, that's just too much. Just stop. So Gina was in Miami too? No. You don't put that on me, Deontay Nash said. They kept me away from seeing Gina. So Cassie got upset? So Nash is saying, no, she didn't necessarily get upset, but she did express, like, why does Diddy keep humiliating me in my career? So she was upset. No. You set her up with Michael B. Jordan? Yeah. And Mia drove it home, making sure she had his number. Okay. So Mia's going to be testifying later. So a bad boy employee set her up with Michael B. Jordan. This is funny. Nash is funny. I'm sorry. He has gall. He does. He has gall. And I in a good way. I think it's funny because you do have to throw it back to these people whenever they're trying to put wrong stuff in the record. Xavier Donaldson, Diddy's lawyer, says, so a bad boy employee set Cassie up with Michael Jordan. And Deontay Nash says, I'm sorry right there. No, Michael B. Jordan, don't mess that up. Don't mess that up. Because Michael Jordan's like a basketball player. Remember him? Okay. Do you know Andre Branch? Deontay said no. You were aware Cassie was in a relationship with Andre Branch. Oh, he said, Nash said. The cute football player? Yeah, I knew, but I never met him. And in 2016, with Brandon of the NBA, sorry. Okay, there's a Brandon in the NBA, everybody, that Cassie was dating, but like, so freaking what? People date people. So, next question. In these texts, you talk to Cassie about Michael B. Jordan. Okay. In these text messages, and he shows Deontay Nash some text messages, he says the question, you talk with Cassie about Michael B. Jordan. You say, quote, no one better say to me, L-Y. What is L-Y? Deontay said, maybe it's love you, or maybe it's a typo. L-Y, know everything. I don't remember. I'm sure we were being antagonized by your client at the time, meaning Diddy. And he didn't want to say nothing to that. He said, okay, next question. Cassie was upset by Gina. Because remember, what is the other theory of the case they're working on other than everything was consensual? This was a mutually toxic, violent relationship driven by jealousy. So they're still trying to show, oh, look at Cassie, the jealous wench, just being jealous and toxic on this man 18 years older than her or whatever. So Cassie was upset by Gina. Deontay said, well, Cassie would say, girl, let's go out and do our thing. So what? Do what she wanted to do? Deontay said, actually, we're both pretty chill. We stayed at the house a lot. But that would be fair. We would do it, whatever she wanted to do. Yeah, what she wanted to do was most of the time sit on the couch. That sounds very Virgo. That's me. My favorite place in the world is my couch. Okay, next question. Let's read these messages. You read the blue ones. He says, looking at the papers. Oh, you got some names in here. And Diddy's lawyer's like, just read. He's like, okay, fine. Let me get my papers. Okay, he's reading. He says, Deontay Nash. I don't know why I keep calling him David. Deontay Nash says, where are you going? Donaldson is being Cassie. So this is Cassie. Secret trip out of town. And then Deontay goes, girl. And then the courtroom laughs. I love him. I want him to come on my channel. He seems funny. He seems very funny. He needs to put stand-up comedian. Oh my gosh, Inner City Press is so funny too. Look at Inner City Press getting in with the girl. Ah! He's funny. Look at this, y'all. Somebody said they're having him read these in court and think this will go well for them. That's wild. Inner City Press, the shade. He retweets it and goes, girl. Y'all, Inner City Press has a YouTube channel and he puts his vlogs from court up. Y'all need to go follow him. We need to do a mass follow later at the lunch break. Seriously, I'm retweeting this and saying, girl. Okay. So they're reading these text messages back and forth. Okay. I'm just going to do them in the voices of like Cassie and what I think maybe Deontay Nash sounds like. Okay. So you do the blue. You got some, you got some names in here. He said to Donaldson. That is so funny. Okay. So this is Deontay, the stylist and friend, to Cassie. He goes to Cassie, where are you going? She said, secret trip out of town. He said, girl. Good friends don't pry. That's not my method. I just replied, girl. Okay, highlight the green part. Cassie is telling you October 30th. So this is the day before Halloween. You know, Diddy wanted to do his ritual freak off on the Halloween. Y'all know he did. So October 30th, that's Lou Taylor's birthday too, by the way, October 30th. After the incident. Okay, so highlight the green part. Cassie is telling you October 30th, 2013, after the incident with the cut on the face, she says, I've already been turning up too much. So they're going to try and make her look like a party girl or something. Okay, so then Diddy's lawyer goes, you say you saw her with a black eye on FaceTime around the time of the Intercontinental? He said, I saw it in person. When her makeup would wear off, you could see it. If the judge said, just let Mr. Donaldson ask you the questions. This would be me. I would be trying to give every detail. I'll be going around the mulberry bush. They would have to stop me every answer. They would say, okay, it's too much. It's too much details because I'll be trying to testify. We got an update from CNN. Deontay Nash says he set up Cassie and actor Michael B. Jordan. Unprompted, Deontay Nash offered that he set up Cassie with actor Michael B. Jordan while she was on a movie shoot in South Africa. He probably is ready to go home. He's probably like, just spit it out. I know what you're getting at. Yes, I set her up. Moving on. He said, quote, yeah, I did hook her up with Michael B. Jordan. I know where we're going with this. He's fine. She fine. I mean, why not? The judge warned Nash a few times to wait for a question and only answer the question asked. Deontay said that Cassie and Diddy had broken up while she was in South Africa after she found out Diddy was seen in public with Gina at an event. Gina has been described in testimony as an ex-girlfriend of Diddy. So just to give y'all some updates on what's going on outside the courtroom and in the courtroom and around the courtroom. An hour ago, The Independent reported that crowds are thinning in drizzly Manhattan. It's another rainy day and the crowds seem to finally be dwindling. There's still enough to fill most of an overflow room, but it's no longer bursting at the seams. Deontay Nash will finish up his testimony today. We'll likely hear from Mia for most of the day and into tomorrow. An hour ago, we also got another behind-the-scenes update. Defense asks the court for more access with Diddy in jail. The judge hopes to keep the trial rolling along at a brisk pace. The defense has argued that an inability to visit Diddy after 7 p.m. may slow down the proceedings. Mark Agnifilo made a plea to the court asking for permission to meet with Diddy until 10 p.m. He argued that a current curfew means the defense has to spend more time debating strategy without Diddy there, and it slows trial preparations. We just need more access to Mr. Combs. Agnifilo told the court on yesterday. The judge said he would call the jail to see if arrangements could be made. The defense previously requested last week to have additional video conferencing time with Diddy, stating he was out of minutes. The prosecutor said they would call the Bureau of Prisons and ask on Sub-Romanian's behalf after the judge expressed he had no luck with the agency. So, like, a judge, he doesn't even have the power. He's like, I can't even call the Bureau of Prisons. I tried. I had no luck. That's pretty sad. Okay. We get another update from CNN.com less than 1 minute ago. Stylist, that's Deontay Nash, testifies that Cassie was upset. Diddy relationships with other women hurt her career. Defense attorney Xavier Donaldson showed Deontay Nash, a celebrity stylist and friend of Cassie, a series of texts that he sent to Cassie in 2015 around the time she learned Diddy was with Gina in public. In one text, Nash told Cassie to ignore. On the stand, he said, I don't remember the context, but I'm sure we were being antagonized by your client. He testified that Diddy was contacting him and Cassie when he heard Cassie was talking to Michael B. Jordan. He also said his close friend, Cassie, wasn't pressed about Diddy's relationship with Gina. Mostly, she was upset that he was running around with other women and it affected her career. So when Diddy heard that Cassie might be dating Michael B. Jordan, he called Nash, Deontay Nash, and he called Cassie, of course, obviously. Let's go to the Washington Post and see. They have a new update. Oh, look, there he is. That was yesterday, him leaving out. He is funny. Okay. The Washington Post did say, Anne Brannigan, Washington Post 27 minutes ago, the government is expected to call another alleged victim of Diddy to the stand today alongside Cassie. Mia, did we already read this? Yeah, no, we already read that one. Okay. Back on the stand, wearing a puffy jacket, loose jeans. Okay, we did read those two. Okay, let's see. What about this one? 3 minutes ago, Anne Brannigan, Washington Post, Deontay Nash has been vocal about how little he has wanted to testify at this trial. But the celebrity stylist appeared keen to volunteer that he was the one who hooked up Cassie and Michael B. Jordan. The defense attorney was cross-examining Nash about events in 2015 when Cassie was in South Africa shooting a film. The attorney was asking the stylist about how Cassie got approval from Diddy to shoot the film. Whenever Deontay just spontaneously blurted out, yes, I did hook her up with Michael B. Jordan. He's like, I already know where this is going. 1 minute ago, CNN.com. Jury sees the text message Cassie sent to Nash, to Deontay in 2013. So this is jumping back 2 years, right? They were talking about 2015 text messages just now. Now we're talking about 2013. The jury saw a message from October 2013. Quote, I already said I'm going to ask Puff if I can go, but I've been turning up too much lately, which is true, the message said, referring to Diddy's nickname. Deontay Nash testified the phrase turning up too much. Deontay testified the phrase turning up too much likely meant going out too much. Okay, I'm going to Inner City Press. All right, so the most recent tweet we read from Inner City Press was 6 minutes ago, where Diddy's lawyer said, so you say you saw Cassie with a black eye on FaceTime? He said, I saw it in person too. When her makeup would wear off, you could see it. Then that was when the judge was like, let Mr. Donaldson ask the questions, please. Then Diddy's lawyer, Donaldson, said, all right, you read these. After Cassie says, this bleep is wasted. We both did the same. Okay, Deontay said, is there a lot of people there? Oh, this is talking about a Gwen Stefani song, Deontay said. He said, take your broke ass home and ride into the sunset. Deontay said, and we did. We took our broke home and rode into the sunset. You know that you ain't got no money, take your broke home. That's not Gwen Stefani, it's Fergie. G-L-A-M. F-O-R-O-U-S. Yeah. That's not Gwen Stefani, right? Maybe it is. I don't know. I think it's Fergie. Did she? Okay, so next question. Okay, so this is here. Look, you read these text messages. After Cassie says, this beep is wasted. We both did the same. Deontay said, is there a lot of people there? Oh, they talking about, this is about a Gwen Stefani song. Okay, yes, but Donaldson, this is Diddy's lawyer. He says, okay, yes, but he said, take your broke beep home and ride into the sunset. Deontay Nash said, yep, and we did. Did she mention to you about having 3-ways with other men? No. Ugh, no, she didn't tell me. He said, ugh, no. She didn't tell me. Then the lawyer says, all right, Mr. Nash, read that to yourself and then look up. On May 10th, 2025, you told the government the videos came from her phone. Now, this is a big issue at trial. I did go to one of Liz Crokin's spaces earlier during the trial. I try to make it to those, but y'all, I am so exhausted by, even when I'm not sick, I am so wiped by like 7:30 and her things don't start till 8:45. I'm gonna have her come on here soon to talk about it. But I was saying that all the evidence that I know of, other than the security guard footage that took the iPhone footage of the Intercontinental stuff, all the other freak off footage, etc., came from Cassie's phone. That's what the government has been saying. That's what the defense has been saying. And there was some man, I guess he's like, I guess famous or something, Myrian or something. And he was trying to argue me down, talking about, guys, I can't stand to be called guys. Okay. Don't call me guys. It's a bunch of women talking. Don't call me guys. Y'all is fine. If you can't say y'all, don't speak to me. Just don't speak to me. You know what I mean? But anyway, it's just one of my pet peeves. And he's like, guys, I've been in the trial every day and I know. And again, apparently this guy is some type of authority. I had no idea. Guys, I've been there every day and this is what's happening. And it's like, wait, but he was like trying to correct me, saying that the defense is arguing all of this freak off footage came from Cassie's phone. It is a big issue at trial. And I was tired anyway, but I had to go because he's disrespectful. Anyway, like, cause you can be in the trial, but like, are you reading every single thing from every single thing all day? Like, no, you're in there, you're trying to write stuff down fast. Like, chill out, dude. Just chill out. Nobody came for you. Don't come for me unless it's sent for you. Okay. Anyway, but this is the question. Diddy's lawyer asks, Mr. Nash, read the note to yourself, then lift your face up. On May 10th, like 19 days ago, 2 days before the trial started, you told the government the videos came from Cassie's phone. Okay, that's the most recent one there. We got a new update from NBC. We keep getting Michael B. Jordan mentions. We're like over and over. This is NBC, Adam Rice, Ying Fang, and David K. Lee. After breaking up with Diddy, Cassie began communicating with Black Panther actor Michael B. Jordan, according to Deontay Nash. Dating, talking, getting to know each other, the witness said during cross-examination. Okay. Let's just read through the updates from the Independent that they've done today. The judge denied requests to cut the video feed of Mia's testimony to the overflow room. The prosecutor had asked for just the audio feed to remain on, but the judge refused. The judge stated that those in the overflow room would be in the main courtroom if there were space, and they shouldn't be treated as second-class citizens. 54 minutes ago, Diddy at the defense table. Court was running behind schedule. He was wearing his sweater and a white shirt. The hearing is running 10 minutes behind schedule. Court resumes. Deontay Nash took the stand. The judge ordered no courtroom sketches of upcoming witness. That's Mia. She's going by a pseudonym. Okay. So interesting. So they're trying to impeach. They are trying. Xavier Donaldson is trying to impeach the credibility of this witness. Obvious reasons why you would want this guy to come across as a liar. You know, you don't want the jury to, they like him. They like this guy. He has gotten more laughs from what I've been able to read than anybody else. He's funny. He's stylish. He's cool. He's seems to be like in kind of like, you know, in charge. He's got like a large personality. I wouldn't be surprised to find out he's a Leo or a Leo rising, but he is clearly bodying the defense. He comes across credible. The people are laughing at him, with him, I should say, and at his jokes. So the most recent thing, right, that we read here was Mr. Nash, Diddy's lawyer, right? I'm going to let you read this and then lift your head. And then he's like, okay. And then Donaldson goes, Diddy's lawyer, just 20 days ago, just 19 days ago, did you not tell the government that the freak off videos came from Cassie's phone? He said, no, I did not. I told them he would record her with her own phone. Okay, my next question. Isn't it true Cassie said the videos were from her phone? Look, dude, I don't know, Nash says. What I know for sure, Diddy would record her on her phone. I stand firm on that. He would record her on her phone. I don't know where the videos came from. I'm not the evidence expert. Why don't you go ask somebody about the chain of custody? I'm telling you, I know Diddy would record Cassie with her own cell phone. I stand firm on that. I don't know where these videos came from. Maybe you could ask your client. I don't know. Okay, fine. Next question. Moving quickly along. You say Diddy said, you won't do this one thing for me. Yep, he did say that at the party, at the 29th party. He said, I do everything for you and you won't do this one thing for me. I asked Cassie, what is the one thing? And it was a freak off. Yes. He really missed his calling to be a lawyer. Maybe he is a lawyer. A Leo lawyer. No shortage of those, though. You said you saw Diddy. Okay, next question. You said you saw Diddy pointing in Cassie's face in the Blind Dragon, right? But you never told the government that, right? The first time you ever said that was at trial, wasn't it? He said, I guess so. I gave them very little by phone. She said she didn't want to go. And you helped pick her clothes for court, didn't you? She couldn't find anything that fit. She needed clothes. For the pregnancy? Nash goes, right. He is a stylist. There's no way. I guess there is some way, but I have a feeling that stylists have been involved in a lot of people's outfits for court. Okay. They're all going to be all over the place, the pictures. And a lot of people have never been to court. So I would ask a stylist what to wear to court. If it was my friend, you helped her pick her clothes out for court, didn't you? And y'all remember she was wearing them tight dresses showing the whole full 8 months pregnant tummy. Good for her. She should. No problems here coming from no complaints. But I'm just saying the outfits for court might have been a little intentional, but they should be. Like Diddy don't do intentional stuff. His outfits are very intentional. He's trying to look like freaking Mr. Rogers. Where's his suit? Why he ain't wearing a suit like he was in the 90s? You in court, you're not he didn't even ask for a blazer. It's freezing in there. He could put a blazer on over that sweater. He won't put it on. Why? These are done for appearances. The world is a stage. It is true. Okay. The world is a stage. It is true. That's why I just wear princess clothes, because I'm the queen. Sometimes I wear down in the bayou clothes too. It just depends on how you catch me. Okay. She couldn't fit anything. She needed clothes for the pregnancy. Right. Okay, so on that Friday after she finished, she called you and said, I'm done. Deontay said, I mean, it wasn't like that. Did you get Cassie super high? What? No, I did not. And the judge goes, Mr. Nash, stop. Next question. Diddy's lawyer. Okay, fine. This 29th birthday party, you say she packed S toys in her duffel bag from her bedroom, right? Correct. So Mr. Combs didn't say, grab the S toys. This is their defense. It's not given very strong. Two new updates from CNN. Okay, we do get some quotes. We get some quotes, some more context on the fact that Cassie wasn't fully forthcoming about the FOs with her friends or family, right? So here's the 6 minutes ago, CNN.com. Stylist testifies Cassie kept secret from him that Diddy videos showed her with other men. The defense attorney, Xavier Donaldson, returned to Deontay Nash testimony about the time in 2013 or 2014 when Cassie told him the videos Diddy was threatening to release showed her actually with other men. He confirmed that even though they had been close since 2008, this was actually the first time he learned that she was having relations with other men. She kept that part of her life secret from you. So that's a quote, right? This is the exact question is being quoted by CNN by Diddy's lawyer. She kept that part of her life secret from you. And Deontay said, yeah, she did until that moment. Nice. Okay. So 6 minutes ago, also from CNN.com, Stylist testimony about Cassie is directly contradicting defense argument. Celebrity Stylist is back on the stand. Parts of his testimony so far have been key for the prosecution, according to attorney and CNN legal commentator Ariva Martin. So this Deontay Nash testified yesterday he heard Diddy make threats to Cassie about releasing videos. Something that this lawyer analyst says is, quote, very important. It's a very important part of the prosecution's case. The prosecution has to prove that Cassie was coerced to engage in these acts. We've heard the defense's claim. No, she willingly participated because she wanted to please Diddy and she was in love with him. But this directly contradicts that theory. This lawyer said Deontay, who testified yesterday that he was subpoenaed to testify, has so far been a very credible witness. His testimony that he heard Diddy threaten to ruin Cassie's career, threatened to withhold the release of her mixtapes if she did not relent, if she did not capitulate to his request to participate in the freak-offs. This is compelling. It's compelling testimony, this lawyer said. Also, Deontay said he knew, based on conversations he had with Cassie, that she often did not want to participate in the freak-offs, yet she felt compelled. Martin suspects, this lawyer, this analyst, suspects that when the time comes for the defense to put on their case, we're going to continue to hear even more from Diddy's side that Cassie was able to make her own decisions and that contrary to being coerced into these acts, she did so as a willing participant. We have two new updates from NBC. This is Adam Rice and David K. Lee. Cassie didn't mention freak-offs for many years to Nash. He admitted under cross-examination that from 2008 to 2013, there's like 6 years of friendship, Cassie never mentioned to him about the freak-offs she performed for Diddy. The defense implication would be that the freak-offs weren't as troubling to Cassie as she described if she failed to mention them to such a close friend. So the defense is trying to say, well, it must have not been that bad. because she never mentioned it to him until Diddy did the threatening to release tapes. Okay. All right. So the most recent tweet that we read from Inner City Press was this one right here. Did you get Cassie super high? What? No. No, I did not. Okay, next question. This 29th birthday, you say she packed S toys in her duffel bag from her bedroom, right? Correct. So Diddy didn't say, grab the S toys. Nash said, well, they were on their way going to, and he gets cut off. Next question. On the golf cart, let's talk about Las Vegas, New Year's, 2016, 2017. Wow. So they just flashed forward to years. Let's go to 2016, 2017. You said you were told Cassie was sleeping all day, 24 hours, right? Deontay said, correct. Okay. I would like to show you Defense Exhibit 1847. This is only for the parties. The jurors and the public gallery doesn't see it. What is this? That's Cassie. So it's a picture of Cassie. And next question. And the low budget producer you mentioned yesterday, he was there? Yep. Right next to me, snoring. Next question. You say Cassie told you another man was coming over and asked you to leave? He said, yep, both of us. And your reaction was, and Deontay said, yeah, that was my reaction. I agree with Terry. I don't know if Terry's in the chat. Terry said, do these lawyers know what a timeline is? This is ridiculous. Using the trying to confuse him tactic, it ain't working. So next question, Mr. Nash. You saw a man walking around, you said, and knocking on the door, and then they let him in? Yep. Okay, so there were no rugs, right? He said, I don't know, we were doing them in our separate places. Once I start working, I just start going. I was packing my 10 body bags. I don't know what that means. He's like, there weren't rugs there, were they? He was like, I was doing them. All of us were doing them in our own separate places. He's like, and I'm packing my body bags. Maybe he just had to pack a lot of stuff because of his being a stylist and stuff. "12 minutes ago, Cassie was concerned about how Diddy's relationship would impact her career. Nash testified that Cassie was concerned about how Diddy might affect her career by running around with other women. He testified that Diddy contacted him and Cassie when he discovered that she was dating actor Michael B. Jordan. Earlier, Nash said he had set Cassie up with Michael B. Jordan. 10 minutes ago, The Independent said Cassie did not tell Deontay Nash about freak off videos. He testified. Yesterday, he testified that Diddy threatened to release explicit footage of him and of Cassie and send the videos to her parents. And send the videos to her parents' jobs to get them fired. Nash said that he tried to comfort Cassie by assuring her that Diddy was in the videos too. But then Cassie told him that Diddy filmed the videos, which showed her having relations with other men. Today, Nash told Diddy's defense attorneys that the incident marked the first time he learned that Cassie was having relations with other men despite their close friendship. That we already read. One new update from Washington Post. Cassie may not have been as jealous of Diddy's other girlfriends as the defense has implied, according to celebrity stylist DeAnte. Diddy's defense has argued that his relationship with Cassie was mutually toxic and abusive, and suggested that she was especially jealous of a woman named Gina that Diddy saw. But Deontay Nash painted a very different picture, telling the defense attorney, honestly, she wasn't that pressed about Gina. He clarified that Cassie felt that Diddy's relationships with other women were actually hurting her career. Okay, less than a minute ago, defense says Nash's testimony on the stand. So Diddy's team is saying that Deontay's testimony on the stand doesn't match what he told prosecutors before the trial. This defense attorney suggested, excuse me. The defense attorney suggested that Deontay Nash's testimony about his account of Cassie's 29th birthday party doesn't match what he told prosecutors about the incident at a pre-trial meeting. He testified yesterday that the night that they celebrated Cassie's birthday. So yesterday he testified that on Cassie's 29th birthday, Diddy and Cassie were arguing at dinner. And Diddy told her that he did everything for her, but she couldn't do this one thing. But Donaldson suggested the government's interview notes don't reflect those details. Nash also didn't tell prosecutors that he saw Diddy pointing in Cassie's face in a corner of a karaoke bar that night. He testified several times he didn't expand on many things with prosecutors during pretrial interviews and never wanted to be involved in the case. It does kind of add up. So the most recent tweet that we read from Inner City Press was where Donaldson, Diddy's lawyer, was like, there weren't rugs, were there? And he's like, actually, yeah, I mean, we were doing them, but we were all in our separate places. Once I start working, I just start going. I was packing my 10 body bags. I don't know what that is. It must be an industry term. Next question. Okay, fine. So then they went to a hotel. And again, Cassie didn't tell you she didn't want to go, correct? Actually, no, incorrect. She did say she wanted to stay home and work on her music. Okay, read the green. Okay, so Deontay said he read his own text message that he had sent to Cassie before. And the text message says from Deontay to Cassie at whatever the time it was, I guess 2017. He said, quote, enjoy y'all time together. Y'all don't get much of this. That's you telling Cassie in January 2017 to enjoy her time with Puff. Isn't that right? Yeah. And then Cassie wrote, I spoke up for myself. And you wrote, you wish you were with them on vacation? No, that's not what I said. I just meant I was in Mexico, not with them. He probably said, wish I was there. Like, wish I was in Mexico. Okay. So then Cassie, I guess, apparently then wrote in these text messages, the next room is on the beach. This one is on the golf course. I have everything organized. And then Deontay wrote, LOL, do you all have a lot of stuff? And then Cassie said, yeah, but we made it all fit. And then Nash said, girl, you always on vacation. Yeah, because just because something's called a vacation doesn't mean that you're not being trafficked. You know, I'm sure a lot of people thought they were going on a vacation before who were, in fact, not going on a vacation. And these gaslighters will just sit here and keep calling it vacations. So maybe she really thought it was a vacation. This is what she had to do. I do all this stuff for you. You can't do this one thing for me. Okay, 14 minutes ago, Nash testifies he saw Cassie on FaceTime with a black eye. I saw it in person. When her makeup wears off, you can see it. He also testified that he saw Mia on a video call with Cassie. So Cassie had called Mia up, I guess, apparently as well. Kim Porter, breaking news, Kim Porter's entering the chat. You stayed in touch with Mr. Combs? Yeah, because he was cutting up. Oh, I get it. You did a seafood thing with Cassie? Correct. And you know Kim Porter, who tragically passed? Yeah. Something about a seafood thing with Cassie, girl. I don't know what that is. But look, you stayed in touch with Diddy. Yeah, because he was cutting up. Oh, right. Oh, I get it. You did a seafood thing with Cassie. So maybe it was like his money was on the line somehow. You know Kim Porter, who tragically passed. Why does Kim Porter just keep coming up, keep coming up, keep coming up? Maybe the jealousy? Okay, less than a minute ago, Stylist says he left the hotel room one time when Cassie said Diddy wanted another man over. Okay, so this is giving us more context. It wasn't that Cassie told Deontay to leave the room because she wanted another man to come over. He was apparently told to leave by Cassie because Diddy wanted somebody else to come over and have a FO. Stylist says he left hotel room one time. Cassie said Diddy wanted another man over. He returned to the previous testimony about a trip to Las Vegas over New Year's 2016, 2017, when he saw a man enter Cassie and Diddy's hotel room. The celebrity stylist confirmed he left their room after Cassie said Diddy wanted to invite another man over. Diddy's lawyer suggested that since Deontay left without asking any questions, he must not have had any concerns about Cassie's safety. But Deontay said, yes, I did. Diddy's lawyer said, but in this situation, you left the room anyway? And Deontay said, yes. Like if somebody tells you to get out of their hotel room, I don't think you're just going to say, no, I'm staying. So we are talking about Kim. We are talking about Kim Porter on Inner City Press. What is this? They're not giving me the updates no more? They stopped giving live updates on the Independent. Okay, that's cute. Moving on. Or did they? Hold on. I know this man has a flight to catch. Okay. Now we're talking about Andre Harrell. Oh, they're bringing everybody's name in. Again, this is Diddy's side bringing this up too, which makes me curious. Why? Okay, Defense Exhibit 1814. You know Kim Porter, who tragically passed? Deontay said, yeah. And You knew Andre Harrell as well. He also passed? Yeah. And you texted Diddy to make sure he was okay after this? Correct. And Diddy wrote to you, the trainer? Question mark. You could have given me a heads up. Black heart emoji. How is she? Did he mean Cassie? Yes. Uh-oh. So he's mad people didn't tell him Cassie was having her fling with the her current husband, who Diddy calls the trainer. So Diddy said, the trainer, you could have told me. What is going on here? Let's see. Get to some of these. Thanks to April Love for the $1.99 at Super Chat. Love the courage. Thanks for your hard work. Thank you. Thank you, GS, for the $1.99 Super Sticker. Shout out to you. Thank you, Eli Knight, for the $20 Canadian. Love to you from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Thank you for all the hard work. Your coverage is bang on and very entertaining. Keep singing, girl. Love it. Hope you're feeling better soon. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Eli. Thank you, Tina, for the $5 Super Chat. Thanks for doing this. I'm on here all day. Thank you, Sonic, for the $5 Super Chat. I wonder if the address for the new filing for Be Tiny is in your web. I sure do wonder. Thank you, Renee Deb Ramirez, for the $2 Super Chat. Thank you, Sensei7, for the $4.99 Super Chat. Shout out to all the gay best friends everywhere. We deserve mimosas and raise for our dedication and undying support. Shout out to the gays everywhere. Indeed, indeed. Thank you for the $4.99 Super Chat. Thank you to Gina for the $2 Super Chat. Thanks for your daily coverage. You're the best. Thank you, Laurie, for the $19.99 Super Chat. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you, thank you. Thank you to JW for the $4.99 Super Chat. And we have an update. Cassie did deliver her baby boy. Congrats to her and her family. Yes, indeed. Thanks, Samantha, for the $1.99 Super Chat. I don't exactly know the percentage. I think it's like 30% or 40. I'm not exactly sure. Thank you for the $1.99 Super Chat. If y'all want to donate where they don't take that much percent, I have my legal fund linked down below and some other ways that you could donate. But the Super Chats is fine. Anything is good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Riley, becoming a member. Shout out to you. Shout out to JW for another $2 Super Chat. Only $1,999 left to go on the legal fund. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the $2 Super Chats. 10K watching. Hit the like button. Jamila said, okay, they need to wrap this up. I'm ready. Carlos said the defense brought this man back to the stand for another day to ask more BS questions that have gone absolutely nowhere. I mean, WTF? The judge has got to be aggravated. I think so. Watching for a gift membership. Somebody said, hold on. Wouldn't that question about Cassie packing toys break rule 412? I don't know. It's a little bit of a wishy-washy gray area. Like, I'm not exactly sure. It just depends on each case by case scenario, but I'm also in no way an expert on Rule 412, the R Shield law. But certain things have been brought up in that realm before, like not being able to ask Kid Cudi about if he had relations with Cassie. All right, so here's Diddy. Okay. Here's Diddy's lawyer. He says to Deontay, he says, all right, next question. In 2020, you wrote to Diddy, I love you. Anything you need, I got you. Deontay said, yes, I wrote that to him. And Diddy won an award that year and you congratulated him? He said, no, I don't think so. I was asking how to RSVP to his party for someone else. Claire Solmers. Oop, name dropping. Let me see who else is doing live coverage. The Mirror? Okay, the Mirror has some the Mirror has some reporting going on, so I'll add them to the roster. Let's see who else while we're waiting for another tweet to come through. Oh, Sky News. Yes. Okay. Okay. Next question from Diddy's lawyer to the witness. Cassie told you about a secret trip. I object, Your Honor, says the prosecutor, and the judge agrees. Sustained. Next question. You deeply care for Cassie, right? For 15 years. Deontay said, yeah. But she kept secrets from you? He said, yup, and I keep secrets from her. We don't have to tell each other everything. That's the truth. That is a real friend. You don't have to tell everybody every single thing about your freaking life, okay? You don't. You don't. Now, should she have, could she have, would she have, da-da-da? I don't know. I'm not in her position. Who knows? Who knows? He was trying to gotcha. You were her friend for 15 years and you cared about her and she kept a secret from you. And he said, and I keep secrets from her. That's what friends do. You don't have to tell everybody everything about yourself just because they're your friend. And it's true. Especially if you in Hollywood, which I have no desire. But if you're like in that world. Oh, trial flashback. How Diddy invented vote or die. It's like, you know, all these theories that his dad was unalived because he was like a snitch, a federal informant, or a federal asset working with the feds. It's like, could that be why Diddy was able to just skate through without anything? You know what else I keep thinking about, y'all? Those fingerprint cards from yesterday that went missing. I keep thinking about them. Who ordered them to be destroyed? And is that going to come up at another trial at another time? I'm just curious. 3 minutes ago, we got another update from NBC News. Defense seeking to show Cassie as willing sex partner. This is Adam Rice, Ying Fang, and David K. Lee. Deontay recalled at a time he spotted a random man joining Cassie in her Las Vegas hotel room. I'm wondering, were they making Britney do freak-offs? Because this is why I'm wondering. Because she had the Las Vegas residency for years. She had a couple of them. She said she was never allowed to leave her hotel room. She only was allowed to go out one time or something. And then when Britney's older brother's girlfriend and Brian Spears, the brother, right? When his girlfriend and him broke up, this girlfriend made all kind of allegations like Brian Spears used to make Britney open her legs with no clothes on in front of his quote friends. And it's like, were his friends the customers? Like, what's really going on? And this girl, this ex-girlfriend, she said all kind of stuff. And then she was like, I'm not going to be silenced. And then like those posts, you know, they just disappeared. But like these Vegas hotels and stuff, it's just curious to me. The testimony would feed the defense's narrative that Cassie had relations with strangers as a normal part of her life, not as a forced act at Diddy's direction. The FOs allegedly ordered by Diddy are so central to the prosecution's allegations. Use his business to engage in these ST and other crimes activities. All right. So where we left off, with Donaldson was, so y'all were friends for 15 years? Yeah. And she kept secrets from you? Yeah. And I keep secrets from her. We don't have to tell each other everything. Okay, fine. Nothing further. Redirect. So now we're going to have the prosecution have another chance to go up and ask a few more questions based on what was just now asked by Diddy's lawyers. Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey says, "Why were you afraid for Cassie?" Deontay said, "Because things could get violent fast." What devices did Diddy use to film Cassie? Her devices. Okay. You say Cassie appeared high at her 29th birthday party? Yes. Hold on, I lost the tweet. Yes. I do think she appeared high at her 29th birthday party. And was Diddy at that time in control of his actions, even though Cassie appeared high? Yes. And what did you say? I said, "You're going to get some beep tonight." And okay, did Cassie want to go? No. No further questions. Nothing from me. They look over to Diddy's lawyer. Nothing here. Done. Judge says, "Mr. Nash, used." All right, so now they're probably going to take a 10-minute break if I had to guess. And that will give them time to get this next one up on the stand. Testimony. I'm doing a little update from Deontay Nash, former Diddy, Cassie stylist, and Cassie's friend. Testimony has ended for Deontay Nash. Originally, he was supposed to finish yesterday, but ran long. Next up, Mia, aka victim 4. People are going to know who this is. Like, it's kind of like a little bit silly to be like, okay, yeah, everybody can look at her face and see her and hear her, but we're going to let her go by Mia. The next witness will use a pseudonym, the judge says. We have another tweet. Hold on. The next witness will use a pseudonym. There will be no recording. There's already no recording. She comes in. Okay, so they don't take a break. They're just moving right along. "How do you wish to be identified?" She said, "Mia, M-I-A." Okay. "Don't show this exhibit," the assistant U.S. attorney says. I don't know who this is, if it's Comey or who. "Don't show this exhibit." "What is it?" She said, "It's my passport." This is about to get wild, broke investor said. Got 2 new updates from CNN. Okay, 4 minutes ago, we are going to probably get a few more stragglers from the end of Deontay's testimony because I want to make sure that we're getting all these different sources. 4 minutes ago, Stylist stopped working. This is CNN.com. Stylist stopped working with Diddy in 2018, but kept in touch. Testified that he stopped working with Diddy in 2018, but they still kept in touch afterward. He said, "I've never spoken to Mr. Combs, and he hasn't asked me about Cassie." I've never spoken to him about Cassie, and he hasn't asked me about Cassie. The jury saw messages between Nash and Combs from January 2019. Deontay messaged Diddy that he was sending love. Diddy responded, yeah, right. We was fam. Ha! He sent a message to Diddy, sending you love. And I think this might have been after Cassie got pregnant and married. Sending you love. And then Diddy said, yeah, right. We was fam, adding that he was disappointed. Diddy then referenced the trainer, an apparent reference to Alex Fine, Cassie's current husband, who was formerly her personal trainer. On a real note, though, how is she? Make sure she's all right, Diddy said. He didn't make sure she was all right, did he? Diddy. Prosecutors call Mia to the stand. Testifying under a pseudonym, the jury will learn her real name. The jury will know her real name. Deontay is off the stand less than a minute ago, CNN.com. Defense attorney wrapped up cross-examination of Deontay Nash. Prosecutor Maureen Comey briefly addressed Nash on redirect, asking why he was always concerned for Cassie, even though there were times when she was happy. He said, because it can go from happy to chaotic in a split second. That's a quote. The stylist said that he had seen it happen in front of him, and he clarified that by chaotic, he meant Diddy acting violent. Then his testimony ended. We have a new update from NBC News. Mia takes the stand. She's expected to testify to the forced labor and racketeering charges. Okay, so a lot of people at the beginning weeks of this trial, I think the AstroTurf campaign has started to pay them to do other things now, but for a while they were talking about all I see is domestic violence. All I see is domestic violence, which is like literally exactly the same PR move that Diddy's team is trying to make. Forced labor. Okay. There's also forced labor charges, I think, in and of themselves in a singular superseding indictment, like as a singular charge, like forced labor. So this person is expected to testify to forced labor and the racketeering charges in the indictment. Okay. So maybe if there's any Neanderthals or troglodytes who are left, who are saying, all I see is domestic violence, or any robots, beep, beep, boop, boop. All I see is domestic violence, beep, beep, boop, boop. Then maybe after this Mia victim, alleged victim, maybe it'll be clearer for those people with just only maybe one or two brain cells to rub together. However, innocent until proven guilty, girl, I don't know. I wasn't there. I never seen any of these people in real life in my life. Never talked to them. Okay, so the last tweet we looked at was 5 minutes ago. She's saying she wanted to go by Mia, and they put up her passport. Show it only for the jury. Brian Steele said, I want to see it too. Okay, because Brian Steele is going to cross-examine on this. Where are you from? Virginia Beach, Virginia. Who is this? Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs. What did you call him? I called him Puff. I worked for him as a personal assistant. She was director of development and acquisitions for Revolt Films. How was it working there? She said Puff's mood changed all the time. Was he violent to you? Yeah, he's thrown things at me. He's thrown me against the wall. He threw me into a pool. He threw an ice bucket on my head. He slammed my arms into a door. And he sexually assaulted me. Sexually assaulted you more than once? More than once. I just know those vloggers and bloggers inside that courtroom are crawling out of their skin seeing this person on the stand. I don't know how you have somebody on the stand, but you have them going by a pseudonym. Maybe it's not a famous person. Maybe it's not a celebrity, so it's going to be hard to figure out who it is. This is such a funny tweet. Inner City Press is funny for this. Girl. Let's go to Washington Post. I bet you they have updates. I knew it. I knew they did. Okay. So we have 3 updates from Washington Post and Brannigan 3 minutes ago. Deontay Nash said under cross-examination he also helped Cassie find outfits when she took the stand in the trial because she couldn't fit anything and she needed clothes. She testified in her 3rd trimester of pregnancy. She gave birth yesterday, showing up the first 2 days in a mock turtleneck dress. She wore a blouse with a bow and a long blazer the following day and concluded her testimony wearing a similar cut jacket in pinstripes. Deontay testified that he also spoke with Cassie, who he considers a close friend, the week she testified to check up on her and ask how she was doing. He said they did not talk about the case. Okay. They might not have. Okay, we have Washington Post, another update 3 minutes ago, and Brannigan. Under direct questioning from the government Wednesday, Deontay Nash said Cassie once told him that Diddy was making her go to a hotel for a freak-off against her wishes. On cross-examination just now, defense attorney Xavier Donaldson asked why Nash hadn't shared this detail until a May 17th meeting with prosecutors, the day after Cassie's testimony. This is common with witnesses. Nash met up with prosecutors several times in the lead up to the trial. He's previously said that he gave prosecutors very little in their meetings, only information they explicitly asked for. When Donaldson asked why new details surfaced in his Wednesday testimony, he said it must have been something they asked. The government has called Mia, this is 2 minutes ago, to the stand. Before she took the stand, the judge explained to the jury that Mia was a pseudonym to protect the witness's privacy. And the fact that she was using a pseudonym did not mean her testimony had greater or lesser value. The jury and the parties will know Mia's real name, but it will not be used in open court. A photo, this is CNN.com, a photo of Mia's passport bearing her true name and her date of birth was submitted into evidence only, under seal only, for the jury to view. Okay, the Sky News is giving us Sky News is actually giving us some details. Let's just go back to 23 minutes ago, news.sky.com. I was exhausted, Cassie's stylist friend says when asked about the reaction to freak-off plans. Deontay is now being asked about New Year's Eve 2016. He was with Diddy and Cassie in Vegas, and at one point, Cassie returned to their hotel and went back to her room. Just enjoying yourself. Okay, let's see. Your reaction was okay. He confirms Cassie then told him to leave the room as a man was coming over. And your reaction was a sigh, like, yeah, he said, yeah. So you didn't say to her, girl, what are you doing? What are you doing, girl? He said, no, I was exhausted. He adds he did not see Cassie immediately after this because she and Diddy went to Mexico after the freak off. Then we have 13 minutes ago, Stylist reached out to Diddy after the death of Kim Porter. Defense lawyer Xavier Donaldson asked Deontay Nash about the late Kim Porter, who was also a long-term partner of Diddy. They were together from 1994 to 2007, which is when he started seeing Cassie. Diddy and Kim Porter had 3 kids together, and he also raised and adopted her oldest son, Quincy, who has been in court for parts of the trial, along with some of the rapper's other children. She died of pneumonia in 2018. Deontay is asked if he was aware how close Diddy and Kim Porter were. And he said, absolutely. I was absolutely aware. When she died, Deontay confirms he reached out to Diddy to say he was there for him and called to make sure he was okay. He finished his cross-examination after some frustration from the judge over his slow pace. Alleged victim Mia, 11 minutes ago, called to the witness stand. Prosecution is now calling Mia The judge told the jurors she's using a pseudonym to protect her privacy. She does not give her testimony, which does not give her testimony any greater or lesser weight. No one should document details of her in their notes or sketches. 1 minute ago, CNN.com updates us 2 minutes ago. Mia testifies that the work environment with Diddy was chaotic and toxic. One of Diddy's former assistants, an alleged victim, testifies that she worked for Diddy in 2 roles. First of all, she was his personal assistant. She also worked as director of development and acquisitions for Revolt Films. She described the work environment with Diddy as chaotic and toxic. It was chaotic, it was toxic, it could be exciting. The highs were really high and the lows were really low. Quote, Puff's mood, end quote, determined the atmosphere, she said, and his mood shifted all the time. She describes times where Diddy was violent with her. They're getting right off to the races. Now, the prosecutors did say they expect this woman to be on the stand all week, like the rest of the week, like at least through the end of the day, Friday. And then we'll get our next witness. Santos was his last name. Enrique, I think, first name. Probably on Monday. That's what the current trial schedule is looking like. Okay, less than a minute ago, CNN.com, this Mia, former assistant, describes times she says he was violent with her. She's testifying under a pseudonym. She listed several ways he was violent. Quote, this is quote, he's thrown things at me. He's thrown me against the wall. He's thrown me into a pool. He's thrown an ice bucket on my head. She said Diddy also SA her on more than one occasion. Let me refresh Washington Post. We have 2 new updates from NBC. Mia's passport entered into the court records under seal. The prosecution entered her passport into the records under seal. Her true name and date of birth shown only to jurors. Normally, witnesses take the witness stand and state their name in open court for the record, but this witness is only being referred to by a pseudonym, Mia. She previously worked for Diddy as a personal assistant. 3 minutes ago, Mia says it was toxic working for Combs and that he assaulted her. This is NBCnews.com. Marlena Lenthang and Adam Rice. Mia described working for Diddy as chaotic and toxic, but it could be exciting. Quote, the highs were really high and the lows really low. Puff's mood determined the environment, end quote. Quote again, he threw things at me, threw me against the wall, threw me in the pool. He threw something against my head, assaulted me. She said he assaulted her on more than one occasion. Diddy has gone by several names in the past, including Puff Daddy, hence the nickname Puff. Let's go to the mirror. Diddy's alleged victim, Mia, called to the stand. Let's go to Sky. 1 minute ago, breaking news. Look how they made it yellow. I don't know if you're colorblind. Can you see that? I'm always like thinking about colorblind people for some reason. I don't even really know any. Do I know anybody colorblind? Is that still is that still acceptable to say? They changed the word. You know, they're changing the names for stuff because all of a sudden stuff that used to be called something is all of a sudden offensive. So I'm not trying to be offensive. If it's not colorblind, somebody let me know. Breaking news. It's yellow. If you're colorblind, it's yellow. Kind of like the sun. That's what color I see it as anyway. Mia tells the court Diddy assaulted her. She's on the stand and Madison Smizer is asking the questions. This is, again, remember y'all, this is victim 4. She tells, now victim 3 ain't testifying. She's missing. She's MIA. This one's Mia and the other one's MIA. But she tells the court, and victim 1 is Cassie. I don't know who victim 2 is. Maybe it was Dawn. Maybe that was who that was. She tells the court where she's from, and she says she knows Diddy by his various names. He's been known as Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Diddy Love, and other names over the years, and she called him Puff. She said she was employed by Diddy for several years and describes the environment as chaotic and toxic. Working for the hip-hop mogul could be exciting. She says highs were really high, but equally the lows were really low. She continued, quote, Puff's moods really determined the environment. He threw things at me, threw me against the wall, threw me in the pool, also SA'd her. When she asked if this was on more than one occasion, the SA, She said more than once. Oh, okay. We got a few new tweets from Inner City Press. Okay, so the last tweets we read were just the same thing, right? Like describing the times that Diddy was violent with her. Did you want to be in the arts? Was the question. She said yes. And this was before social media. I thought if I could put my mattress on my car and drive to New York, I could do it. I went to work for Georgina Chapman. Red carpet dressing. Georgina Chapman. Who is that? Okay, anyway, so then what did you do after that? Well, then I was an assistant to Mike Myers. That's the guy from Austin Powers, right? How did Diddy hire you? She said, well, first I met with a recruiter, and then I met with HR and Tony Baez Fletcher. Tony Fletcher. We've heard this name come up a few times. I believe this was at one point Diddy's chief of staff. Did Diddy ever interview you? Yeah, and I was interviewed at his apartment. He was on the phone wearing his underwear. The HR lady had left. Did he ever put clothes on? Yeah, he put them on eventually. And did you get the job? Yeah, I was excited. How much did you expect to work? She said, I expected to work a lot, but I didn't fully understand. How much were you paid? $50,000. I guess a year. I don't know what year this was. Did they say? It doesn't say. And where did you start when you started working? Where were you working? She said she started at the Alpine, New Jersey house. She said, I was there all day. Okay, then where did you go? Well, then I would go back to the office for a few hours. Then I was told Puff wanted me to come to the studio. And how long were you at the studio? I was at the studio until 1 p.m. the next day. Y'all, I have been hazed like this before, okay? At a new job, I'm not going to mention the employer, but they told me at like, I think 11:30 p.m. that I had to actually stay up all night, but I had actually woken up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I had to stay up all night and watch for this printer. It was a $1.1 billion deal I was working on. I had to stay up all night, and then I like crashed around 6:30 or 7 when everybody else woke up. No, it might have actually been 10. It was like 10:30. So I was up from 4 a.m. one morning all the way through the night till like 10:30 the next morning. And then I crashed. And then I got called to the office because I fell asleep the next day. That's why I don't work for nobody no more. I work for the Lord. Anyway, okay. So where did you start working? Oh, here we go. Hold on. What did you do on your first day? I missed this part. Excuse me. I was getting too excited. So let me just read this whole tweet over again. Did you get the job? Yes, I was excited. Hold on. This tweet is just from 4 minutes ago. Don't worry. We're not that far behind. Did you get the job? Yes, I was excited. How much did you expect to work? I expected to work a lot, but I wasn't fully abreast. I didn't really understand how much they were going to have me working. How much were you paid? $50,000 a year. What did you do on your first day? What did you do on your first day? Well, HR told me I was actually going to be on trial for 2 weeks. All right, so where did you start on your first day? First, I started at his house. I was there all day. Then where did you go? Then I went back to the office for a few more hours. Then I was told Puff wanted me to come to the studio. How long were you there? She said till 1 p.m. the next day. Then where did you go? She said, then I went to Diddy's apartment. Then finally I went home. How fast did you have to return to work? She said, I didn't take a nap. I didn't want to risk it. How much did you sleep during your first 24 hours on the job? Mia said, I did not sleep. I took it as a challenge. And it was a proving ground. It was a grooming. It was whatever you want to call it. Hazing. What do they call it in India? Ragging. It was like That it's like it is a test. They told you you're undergoing a test, and I guarantee you, if she would have complained about being tired, what would she have heard? You know what rhymes with tired? Fired, because we heard that testified too. Mia said there had been a TV show a few years before I started working for Diddy called I Want to Work for Diddy. Working for Diddy was exactly like that. Next question. How did you deal with the lack of sleep? She said, well, when I was young, I would tell myself, you can sleep at 3 p.m. Objection, Your Honor, objection. Brian Steele, this is Young Thug's lawyer. He's the one that's going to cross-examine this witness, but probably won't be till tomorrow. Judge said, shut up, Brian, sit down. Overruled. How long did you stay up at once? Oh, how long did you stay up at once? She said 5 days. How was the longest you stayed awake, I guess? 5 days. I take Adderall extended release. I could quasi-function and stay awake. When did you go to sleep? She said, my hearing went. So she couldn't hear. I've done this before. It wasn't 5 days, though. It was like 2 straight days. And I started looking at stuff I knew for sure wasn't moving, and it was moving. And I was like, all right, I guess that's time to go to bed. That was in college. That was like more than 10 years ago, maybe 15. I can't believe I was in college that long ago. 5 days. I take Adderall extended release. I could quasi-function and stay awake. When did you go to sleep? She said, when my hearing went and my equilibrium was off. I had blurred vision, lights. I was seeing lights that weren't there. And she said, I cried. Yeah, you get emotional. Or I did. I guess it affects everybody different. Sorry. Were you then told you could sleep? Yes. By who? Diddy. And this is like a classic MK Ultra technique. MK Ultra has actually like gotten kind of a bad rap now because like it's sort of intertwined with a bunch of people calling it a conspiracy theory or whatever. Like this is a real program that the government ran. There's declassified CIA documents on it. You can go look them up. One of the things that they would do and that they did notice worked well was sleep deprivation and exposure to extreme temperatures, like very, very cold. So throwing somebody in a cold pool lines up with that. Now, am I saying Diddy is an agent of MK Ultra, the official program? No, that's not what I'm saying. Officially, it's over. It's ended. However, any Tom, Dick, and Harry, including me and you, can go and read what they were doing. And we can see, oh, what worked? Oh, sleep deprivation. Oh, making somebody have a schedule that is totally unpredictable. They have no idea where they're going to be and what they're going to be doing and what they're going to be dealing with. So if you just have to deal with a manic person all the time, and I'm not talking about manic in a clinical sense, I'm talking about just these mood swings we are hearing about, that could subject you to that. So she's like, finally, Master Diddy allowed me to go to sleep once I was hallucinating and crying. Why did you stay awake that long? She said, I was working. It's like nobody wants to work these days. Okay, so then the assistant U.S. attorney, Madison Smizer, says, okay, I'm going to introduce some exhibits here. It's taking a long time, he said. These exhibits are under seal. Okay, so we're not going to be able to see them. I don't know if the jury gets to see stuff that's under seal or not. Brian Steele is objecting. Diddy's lawyer is like, we object to these exhibits coming in. But the judge is like, well, I'm letting them come in under seal at least. What is this? The assistant U.S. attorney asked. Mia said, oh, it's a trade secret thing, I bet. I bet they're trying to argue that this is like confidential trade secret documents. The assistant U.S. attorney says, what is this about an exhibit that was admitted under seal? Mia says, it's a list. Gristle is funny. I get so distracted by stuff, but look how funny this is. Somebody commented on Inner City Press's thread and said, you working yourself like a Diddy associate. I was thinking that. I was like, I feel like I'm a Diddy associate, how hard I've been working on this trial. These exhibits are under seal. Okay, what is this? And Mia says, this is a list of my responsibilities. I sent... Smart. Okay, so back in 2011, this is right around the time, November 2011, Remember, it was December the next month whenever Diddy found out about the Kid Cudi thing, about the Kid Cudi relationship with Cassie, and then he left in the middle of the freak off and he went to pick up Capricorn, and then they went to trespass or whatever allegedly onto Kid Cudi's apartment. Like that happened in December. So 1 month prior, Diddy had said to Mia, I don't even know what you do all day. So Mia said, all right, bet. She typed up a list of what she did all day and she sent it to the chief of staff, Tony Baez Fletcher. So now the assistant U.S. attorney is pulling up what the list was. And this is a credible document because it's from so long ago while she still worked for him. Let's focus on a few things in this document, the prosecutor says. Read this part, please. Mia. All of P. Diddy's social media presence. Who is PD? Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs. I wrote, main liaison between PD and Hollywood. Did you do that? BlackBerry 24/7. Okay, so she's saying that one of her primary jobs was to manage all of Diddy's social media back at that time. Now, this was 2011. I think that was the year Instagram came out. Okay, so it's like new. I wrote main liaison between PD and Hollywood. So she was like a PR agent too, like liaising between, well, whoever Hollywood is. Did you do that? She said BlackBerry 24/7. So she had his BlackBerry, I guess. CNN has 3 new updates. Maybe they can give us more context. Former assistant said, this is 8 minutes ago from CNN.com. Former assistant says Diddy answered the door in his underwear when she met him for interview. Former assistant to Diddy, who's testifying today, said she was like 25 or 26 years old when she first applied to work for Diddy. As part of the process, she went to Diddy's apartment to meet with him, along with the head of human resources. She testified that Diddy answered the door in his underwear, and the head of HR introduced them and then left. Mia said he later put on more clothes. She was told she would work 40 hours a week, but she testified that she always worked more than that. And she was told her starting salary would be $55,000 a year, but it was only $50,000. Okay, this is going to possibly come in when the government has to choose. Sorry. This is possibly going to come in when the government has to show force, fraud, coercion for the racketeering and the using the enterprise with the RICO charge. Coercion and force are one thing, but then there's fraud. That's like a fraudulent inducement to tell someone you're going to give them something, but you don't. So that $5,000 is the fraud. Allegedly. I'm not accusing him of this, okay? I'm saying it could come in during the government's arguments for that. Maybe they have stronger. 12222 in the chat. Put a 12222 in the chat. Did y'all see that? I know y'all saw that light flicker. Does 12222 need to be my favorite new number? Oh, and then they left. Girl. Anyway, okay. So 5 minutes ago, former assistant testifies she worked days without sleep. She testified she didn't sleep during her first 24 hours on the job. She recalled feeling like maybe it was a challenge. Maybe it was just part of her 2-week probation period. This is grooming. This is the mindset of someone being groomed. She's, in my opinion, I'm not an expert. Go to the therapist yourself, girl. Mia said that working long hours on little sleep turned out to be the norm. She often didn't sleep for days when she was working. One time she recalled working 5 days straight with no sleep. Extended release Adderall helped her stay awake. When she finally had a breakdown from exhaustion, crying uncontrollably, Diddy told her she could leave and go to sleep. He was testing her limits, I think, in my opinion. 3 minutes ago, CNN.com, former assistant testifies she worked days without sleep. Wait, did we just read that? We already read that. They double did. Okay, let's go to Washington Post. Okay, we just have one. Oh no, I think we already read this. Oh, we do get a little bit of insight into her demeanor. when she was answering that question, we've read it on 7 different places at this point, but the thing like, quote, he's thrown things at me. He's thrown me against the wall. He's thrown me into a pool. And then it says, Mia said, staring at her lap. So she's looking down. He also SA'd me. Kelly Osbourne is looking just like Sharon these days. Working with Diddy was chaotic. We already read that. Mia, on times Diddy was violent toward her. We already read that. Mia claims Diddy answered door in his underwear. She was 25 or 26. She went to his apartment. He answered in her underwear. Head of HR introduced himself to her. The head of HR introduced Diddy to her and then left. Let's go to Inner City Press. Okay, so the last tweet we read from Inner City Press was the one where she was reading from the email that she sent to the head of HR because Diddy was like, I don't even know what you do all day. I don't even know what you do all day. And she's like, oh, okay, bet. And she's like, starts typing up a list of what she does all day. And she's like, I manage all of his social media presence. I'm the main liaison between him and Hollywood. On the BlackBerry 24/7. And I anticipate his moods. Well, why was anticipating? She wrote, quote, anticipate his moods in this email. Why was that important? She said, because his moods dictated the day. You wrote every day is different. She said, yeah. And that, quote, he might ask you to crack his knuckles or do his taxes. Next question. Did you have an apartment? Yes, I did. In New York City. Were you at your apartment very much? No. Mia says, my roommates joked that they lived with a ghost. Next question. In Los Angeles, where did you stay? She said in the staff house and then in Puff's house. This was the Beverly Grove address and then Beverly Crest, then 200 South Mapleton. What about in Miami? She said that in Miami, I would stay at his house as well. That's the Star Island home. Could you leave Diddy's house? No, I only could leave with Diddy's permission. One time I left at 2 a.m. after he was asleep and I got in big trouble. What happened? She said security called me to say he was sending them to find me. It was at the first LA house, 2009 or 2010. Wow. I'm sharing this one. Diddy allegedly wouldn't allow former employee. Mia, aka victim 4, to leave his house even at 2 a.m. Security was sent to find her, she testified. Wow, this is crazy. We have another tweet. Oh, Lord. It's like making my eyes water or something. Were you allowed to lock your bedroom door? No. Diddy said it's my house. No one locks doors in my house. So it wasn't really my room. But did security guards get to lock their doors? Ooh, y'all. I think that the government is gearing up to charge some of the security as co-conspirators because they won't flip on Diddy. I read somewhere or I heard somewhere a lawyer who does these cases saying, I think it might have been Bruce Rivers. Bruce Rivers, the criminal lawyer. He is so cute. I love him. I just love him. He's like my YouTube uncle or something. But He said in a RICO case, you usually are going to see co-conspirators. And when you don't see co-conspirators, that means every single one of them done flipped. But what if they're trying to still keep these security guards and they're going to get them too? I don't know. Maybe Bruce Rivers could answer it. Did security get to lock their doors? Yeah. I couldn't lock my door, but they could lock their doors. One had a deadbolt and the other one had a keypad. So you dee. I was told they were actively hiring other assistants. How long until Malcolm, the assistant who was there when you started, stay? Okay, so there was an assistant who was already working as an assistant when Mia, the witness on the stand right now, started working. Malcolm was his name. How long was he there? She said 7 or 8 months. Okay, so next question. After that, were you the only assistant there? She said, yeah, for like a year. We have 2 new updates from CNN, including the list of her responsibilities that they saw. So we'll read that. 3 minutes ago, CNN.com said ex-assistant says she was never at her apartment because she traveled with Diddy. She testified she had an apartment in New York, but her roommates joked that they lived with a ghost. She said she traveled with Diddy and stayed wherever he was, or she would stay in staff housing. 1 minute ago, CNN.com, jury sees list of former assistants' responsibilities. They had been sent, she had sent to another employee November 2011. This is a month before. Okay, wait. This is contradicting Capricorn Clark. Because didn't she say she was Diddy's personal assistant at this point? Or maybe she was working. Actually, no, it doesn't contradict with her. She came back to work for Diddy, but only as a, not directly under him or whatever, right? I need somebody look it up. Because this lady just said Diddy did not have any other assistants for like a year. But didn't Capricorn Clark just the very next month after this have to get in the car with Diddy because she was going to Kid Cudi's house to unalive Kid Cudi with Diddy? Anyway, let's get to this list that they saw. Anyway, I'm just thinking of any possible. I'm always issue spotting. Okay, I'm always issue spotting. Mia testified that she wrote the list after Diddy made threatening comments, questioning what she did all day. A threatening comment. Made a threatening comment to fire her, probably. Some of the items that she listed included this: all of his social media presence, main liaison between P. Diddy and Hollywood, his daily routine, keeping him on schedule, protecting him at all times, staying within his eyesight unless he advises otherwise, always while on duty. That's crazy. Maintaining his daily routine in both professional and private circles from the minute he wakes up until in the morning until the moment he falls asleep at night, anticipating his needs, whims, and moods. She also wrote that Diddy could ask her to do 17,000 things at one time, ranging from cracking his knuckles to writing his next movie to doing his taxes. There's a whole entire side plot about like intellectual property theft. Diddy keeps getting sued for that. And the lawsuits are by inmates and they keep getting dismissed. But I'm like, there's some of them that have to be real, in my opinion. All right. 1 minute ago, CNN.com, Mia testified she wasn't allowed to leave Diddy's homes without permission. She recalled one time in 2009 or 2010 when she left the home late at night after Diddy was asleep. After she left the house, Diddy's security called her to let her know that Diddy had seen them. Sorry, excuse me. I was getting ahead of myself. After she left the house, Diddy's security called her to let her know Diddy had sent them to go find her. She said, quote, "I got in big trouble." She said she was also not allowed to lock her door when she stayed in Diddy's house. "This is my house. Nobody locks my doors." The security personnel was allowed to lock their doors, and one guard's room held the home's security camera system. Okay, so these security cameras are absolutely going to come up. Because what did the feds confiscate that we haven't heard jack bleep about so far? All those terabytes upon terabytes of footage from security cameras in Diddy's house. We haven't even heard about that yet. So it's starting to creep in just little by little. NBC News, Marlena Linthang and Adam Rice. Mia said she worked for Diddy from 2009 to 2017. She had applied whenever, so that's a long time, like 8 years. She had applied when she was 25 or 26. Diddy said the job would be 24/7 for the promised compensation of $55,000. She said she ended up being paid $50,000. She testified that she once worked for 5 straight days. Yep, Las Vegas. See, Britney Spears was in a conservatorship during this time, and I would bet that it was during the Vegas residency. Y'all are going to see it. I know that y'all get mad when I bring up Britney Spears, but I'm telling you it's related to this trial. I'm telling you it is. In my opinion, in my psychic vision. I could be wrong, but that's my psychic vision. Mia testified that she once worked for 5 days straight without sleeping. Quote, "We were traveling, Las Vegas. There was always things going on," she explained. She noted that she had an Adderall prescription since she was 17 and it helped her function without sleep. "I had a physical breakdown. My hearing went. I felt like I was underwater. My equilibrium was off, blurred vision. Out of nowhere, I was hysterical and I just couldn't stop crying. At that point," Diddy said, "I could go to sleep." Okay, we're going to go back to Inner City Press. Got a couple more tweets. Here, there is a little bit of conflict, I think, between Capricorn Clark and Mia's testimony, because I think Capricorn Clark was also testifying she was an assistant during this time, but they're not mentioning this assistant at all here. They're not mentioning Capricorn at all. But anyway, so the last tweet we read, "I was told they were actively hiring other assistants. How long?" to Malcolm, the assistant who was there when you started. She said he stayed 7 or 8 months, and then I was the only assistant left for like a year. Whew, excuse me. "And how did you feel?" She said, "I don't know. I didn't have time to feel. It was insane. Diddy gave me a pep talk. Like, we were a team," he said. "I need a second brain." "Did he ever hire more assistants?" She said, "Yeah, eventually. But I still felt like I was the one that was responsible for everything." "Did you ever get punished?" Mia said, "Yes. In various ways. I got cussed out. My intelligence was insulted. And my job was threatened." "Who did those things?" Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs. "Who's this?" "That's George Kaplan. He was another personal assistant for Diddy." We heard his testimony, y'all, or we read about it. He was the only person so far that I know of, that we know of publicly, that only would testify if he was given immunity. Now maybe there's some other people who that would apply to, and the government is just like, "We don't want to give you immunity." But this is the assistant that was like, "I did not want to testify. My relationship with Diddy is complicated. I actually like him. In some ways, he taught me a lot. I learned a lot. I considered it my Harvard." I think that was that guy, all that. So we're looking at a picture of him now. The jury is, and the witness was. George Kaplan. "What was Revolt Films?" She said, "Diddy and me started Revolt Films together." "Were you still performing personal assistant duties whenever you and Diddy started Revolt Films together?" She said, "Yes." "Okay, at that time, how much did you get paid?" She said, 70,000, then 100,000. There were supposed to be bonuses. "Did you ever get those bonuses?" "No." 2 new updates from CNN. Two minutes ago, Diddy's former assistant says Diddy would threaten her job and humiliate her. There were various ways he would punish her, including threatening her job, insulting her intelligence. She said there was a lot of getting cussed out and humiliated and berated when she worked for him. Former assistant testifies being Diddy's only assistant felt insane. Mia, one of Diddy's former assistants and alleged victim, said she was his only personal assistant for about a year and it was difficult. The assistant U.S. attorney asked her how she felt at the time. She said, I didn't have time to feel, but like insane. Diddy gave her a pep talk when he told her she would temporarily be the only assistant and positioned it as though we were going to be doing this as a team. She said the fact that Diddy believed in her made her want to prove herself to him. Okay, so they're going to take like a 10-minute break, I guess. A bathroom break. I'm waiting for Christina Karam testimony too. Okay, so then the court takes a short break. Trial is in recess for 10 minutes. So clock is ticking. We already got only 9 minutes left now. Let's go to Sky. They had some good updates. We have two updates from Sky News, news.sky.com. Alleged victim had breakdown after working 5 days without sleep. The prosecutor asks how she got the job. She said she had several interviews, including one to meet Diddy at his apartment. He allegedly opened the door in his underwear before he later put clothes on. There was a trial period, she says, and on her first day, she ended up working through the night. Oh, excuse me. Until 1 p.m. the following day. And when she asked how much sleep she had in her first 24 hours, she said, I didn't. She felt like it was a challenge for her trial period, sort of like it was kind of like how it is. The assistant U.S. attorney asked for details about the longest period she had without sleep. And she told the court 5 days. We were traveling. There was always something going on. She said she takes a prescription drug, which would allow her to function without sleep. She said she eventually had a physical breakdown and her hearing went. It felt like I was underwater. At that point, Diddy allowed her to sleep. We had one other update from Sky News. Mia tells the court she wasn't allowed to leave Diddy's house without permission. The court hears that once Mia started working for Diddy, she was barely at home. I would stay wherever Puff was. Since his rise to fame in the 90s, he was known as Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, and Diddy over the years, but Mia is referring to him as Puff throughout her testimony. When asked if she could leave Diddy's homes whenever she wanted, she said, no, I wasn't allowed. I had to ask for his permission. She said she initially thought she might be able to leave outside of normal working hours. And on one occasion, when it was super late, she was desperate to meet her friends. So she left to see them. And she said, I got in trouble. She said one of Diddy's security team called her and told her they were on the way to find her. She asked if she was allowed to lock her bedroom door. She said, no. Diddy said, this is my house and no one locks doors in my house. And that turned out not even being true because people did lock doors in the house, apparently. I'm just looking at the different things going on here. Thanks so much to Jules for the $5 super chat. Thank you. Watching from Logan, Martin Lake, Alabama. Shout out to Alabama cousins in the chat, although I don't think I have any blood cousins over there. I wrote OJ's trial in court reporting school. Awesome. I hope this one sticks. Awesome. Shout out to you. Thank you, Jules, for the $5. Thank you, Lynn, for the $1.99 super chat. As a DV survivor myself, I am so proud of Cassie. Shout out to Cassie for speaking her truth. Thank you, JW, for the $5 super chat. They better not have made Britt freak off. She called Diddy out. He looked at, to be looked at right away after she was free. She did. And we weren't even looking at Diddy yet. Like you said, JW, we weren't looking at him yet, but she did mention him. I got to find that Instagram post. She deletes everything, or someone does. Thank you for the $5 super chat and for that reminder. Thank you, Fane Cologne. Cardella Smith lawsuit say police working for Puff. It does say that, but then they also are saying that he's forging documents. So I don't know what that's about. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Thank you, Joyful Ladybug, for the $9.99. Thank you, Mods. There's 10K of us watching BJ. She's been live for 11 days plus today. I challenge her supporters to donate $11 to her lawyer fund. Shout out. That would be great. $11. Yes. Get me to the goal. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you, Joyful, for the $9.99 super chat and for the great idea. Thank you. If able, nobody give me your last $5, please. Please don't give me your last $5. I know people, it's hard out here. Y'all, these mods are working extra hard today. Slay mod slay. Yes, I got the links for the mods too. I need to put them in my description box and put the links for the mods down below in my next live. I gotta remember. My mind is all over the place. Thank you for the $5. Slay mod slay. Do they have any links? Yes, they do. They do, Crystal. I'm gonna put them in the they can put them in the chat, but I'll also put them in the description box. I just forgot. I haven't all been all there yet. Last couple days. Thank you, Jody, for the £4.99. Been watching your great coverage. So many topics. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you. Thank you, Nikki, for the £10. I think Nash was a good witness. BJ, thank you for doing this for everyone when you're not well. It's really appreciated. You're our queen. I think Mia's going to be bad for Diddy. I think so too, Nikki. Thank you. Thank you for the £10 super chat. Thank you, Beverly Bigglesworth, for the $2.79 Canadian. Male assistant started at $70K, females at $50. That is true. I did notice that. I did notice he did start the male assistants at higher, and one of them was just right out of school. That's very interesting. But it might help Diddy's case, because he might say, "Look, it's obvious I wasn't paying her extra to do the S work." Thank you to to Mary for the $1.99. Oh, Georgina Chapman is Harvey Weinstein's ex-wife. This lady worked for Harvey Weinstein's ex-wife. Everybody, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. We got an update from CNN. Less than a minute ago, we get a CNN.com update. Former assistant says working on TV and film projects was a dream come true. She's been testifying about the extreme working conditions under Diddy. But she says getting to work in TV and film was a huge personal success. She's been testifying under a pseudonym. Mia, she explained that she and Diddy started the Revolt film production company together, and it was a separate entity from his Revolt TV brand. So there's Revolt Films, movies. She said she'd been essentially running his film production company for years and finally got the title that reflected her work. She said working at Revolt Films was her dream and that working on TV and film projects was overwhelmingly awesome. She said she was still doing some personal assistant duties when she started at the new role at Revolt. Her starting salary was $70,000, but after a few years, it went up to $100,000. The scene inside the courtroom, CNN.com. Mia is answering many of the questions with her head down, and her face is barely visible. She looks up only a handful of times. As she left for the break, her shoulders were hunched forward in a way that made her appear smaller. Diddy's mom and sons are in the courtroom. When Diddy first saw his mom this morning, he smiled and blew her a kiss. We have one new update from NBC. Mia was not allowed to lock her door to her bedroom in Diddy's houses. He said, "This is my house. Nobody locks my doors." The rule didn't seem to apply to the predominantly male security team, which stayed in rooms with deadbolts and keypad locks, Mia recalled. Let's go to Washington Post. Mia said she once went 5 days without sleep. My hearing went. I felt like I was underwater. My equilibrium was off. Her vision blurred. She said she burst into tears, and she described herself as hysterical, unable to stop crying before Diddy finally said she could sleep. See, look, he was wearing this. He was wearing a suit, like suits, last time he went to trial. Okay, we have an update from the Mirror UK. Mia testified that her time working for Diddy was marked by frequent verbal mistreatment. She described being regularly subjected to threats against her job and belittling comments aimed at her intelligence. There was a lot of getting cussed out and humiliated and berated, she said, reflecting on the emotional toll of her employment. Let's go to Sky News. Okay, 6 minutes ago, Diddy humiliated alleged victim and threatened her job. She's giving evidence under a pseudonym, continued to testify. She said there was one period lasting about a year that was so particularly hard and difficult. She described it as insane. When asked if she was ever punished, she told the court, yes, there was a lot of getting humiliated, my intelligence insulted, and my job threatened. This was all by Diddy himself, not the enterprise, just him. Okay. So the 10-minute break did start 11 minutes ago. So any moment we're going to be hearing back from Mia. They're probably getting all situated back up in there again right now. Yeah. I got this lip liner this weekend. How cute is it? It's from Clueless, the movie. Or it's like Revolution. Look. I guess I don't have my camera on autofocus, so y'all can't see it, but isn't that so cute? Not sponsored. I think I paid like $6 for that thing. Thanks so much to Emmy for the $5 super chat. So glad to be with you live from Minneapolis. Lou Tate is the devil, but she ain't even favored by him. That's why her birthday is one day off. Not even the devil likes Lou Taylor. Oh, thank you so much, Emmyana, for the $5 super chat. Thank you, Michael, for the $5 super chat. There's no proof of RICO. Okay, well, okay, let's see your law degree. Thank you for the $5. This is an extremely drug addictive and abusive individual who also suffers from bipolar disorder, nothing more. Shout out to the AstroTurf bots that have to pay to get me to read their comments. Thank you so much, Michael. I'll take another $5 to read the next comment, no problem. Thank you, Adrienne, for the $2 super chat. Thanks for the great work. Thank you, Nicole, for the $9.99 super chat. Y'all, the Media Matters is hard at work out here. Not Nicole, not T. Nicole. Wait, hold on. There was an assault that happened in Las Vegas in 2013 that Kendrick Lamar was accused of with a woman. Ooh, no evidence turned up, but many believe it was actually Cassie and Diddy. Oh, interesting. Thanks so much for the $9.99 super chat. Thank you, Mindy. Shout out to you becoming a member. It looks like a pen from Legally Blonde. It sure does. Wait, where is that? Where's that comment? Kelsey said, hold on, stop it. BBD doesn't make you a monster. Stop. Clueless is a movie, yeah, from the 90s. Yeah. I wish Diddy would show up dressed in that red satin suit with the cape. There it is. Sheena said it. I'm watching every day from Hawaii. Shout out to Hawaii. Isn't it so cute? Isn't it so cute? It's like too coincidental, Adrienne said, for me to believe this isn't tied to Britney. Just curious. Why do people get booted if they think Diddy isn't guilty? They don't. People who think Diddy isn't guilty are more than welcome here. I don't know if Diddy's guilty. I say it every single day on live. What isn't welcome here is belligerence and stupidity. So you can be belligerent and stupid. If I don't see it, you're not getting booted. But if I see it, you got to go. I'm a new listener. Can someone explain to me the money donation? Is it a companion to see who can raise more? Are you talking about a competition? I don't know what well, this, Shauna, I'll be happy to answer your question. This is my job. This is what I do for my job. And the way that I make money is like the little ads that pop up on the screen and donations. So if you are appreciative of the fact that I'm on here with COVID, if you're enjoying my work, if just if it's on your heart, that's why people give donations. They see me working hard. They're glad somebody's doing this as their job because as we can see, you can't trust every news source because they all contradict each other. Hope that helps. Yeah, do not contact anybody. Oh my God, the dogs. The dogs. Shout out to those dogs. Lucy said, I'm outside listening to this. And these two dogs that usually bark at me nonstop are completely silent. Shout out to those dogs. Be quiet. Hush, dogs. Keeping someone awake that long is literally torture. I know. You did a whole video explaining these biased bots. They're more spottable since. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you, Jody. Yep. All right. So let me see if they are back in the court yet. Snowfire said, I'm bipolar. That guy is wrong. I mean, that bot, that employee. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the $2. Thank you, Courtney, for the $10 super chat. Thank you, BJ, for all your hard work. Love chilling with you when I'm at work. Thank you for all you do. Never back down. Love you, mean it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I won't. Don't back up. Don't back down. Bow. Okay. Let's see if we have anything new here. Wait, I want to go to his like main. Hold on. Look at his like main like page thing. No, he hasn't said anything else back. Gristle said, Diddy gonna need extra applesauce after today. Shannon is like, is her face shown? What does she look like? Nobody is allowed to draw pictures of her. They got a court order. Okay. I don't want to read a recap. We already been here all morning. I don't do no recap. Okay, let's see. Just scrolling through our different sources. Oh, also Shanna, or whatever her name was, to Aunt Shauna. Another thing too, no, it's not, I'm not in a competition with anybody. I'm not in a competition with anybody. I spread the love around to other people's channels. There is no competition whenever you are one of one. Okay. Nobody can compete with me. There's not a soul on the planet that can do what I do. So I'm not in competition with anybody. Just to finish answering the other part of the question, no, I'm not in competition with anybody. I hope this isn't a stupid question. Where does Diddy go for lunch? I think he has a little side room. Mia couldn't lock the bathroom door. I don't know. Yeah, if Oklahoma Outlaw is a bot, he could stay. It's a good bot, I guess. Lou Taylor thought she could hold BJ down, but it blew up in her face. BJ has a bigger audience than ever. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. 1,000 shall fall at my side, 10,000 at my right hand, but it will not come near me. I will only observe with my eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. Does the mainstream media have a requirement to protect her identity? I think that they could get in trouble. This is what I think. If they release her identity and say who it is, let's say CNN does it. The judge could say, all right, CNN, you can't send nobody into this court anymore because y'all don't know how to follow rules. No one is allowed to draw pictures of this witness. No, the judge made an order at the beginning and he said no one can draw pictures of this witness. I'll leave that up to y'all what you think about it. They didn't get a court order not to draw Diddy's mom. It's Mia. Mia dated Julian Assange. You lying. You lying. Yes, Bayou Princess. Yes. DIDDY. Love you, watch you every day. Yes, Bayou Princess. That's me. He's done. This witness isn't stopping until her testimony is out there. She got big powers protecting her. There was a rumor that Diddy threw a puppy. Oh no, girl. Thank you so much, Amaro. Yes, BJ's bot slay. I don't know how to do a bot, y'all. I don't. Thanks so much, Girl Ryan. Girl Ryan. Oh my God, BJ, I appreciate your dedication so much. Oh boy, my work productivity does not. Thanks for what you're doing. Thank you, Ryan, for the $4.99 super chat. All right, let's see if we got anything else coming through from Inner City Press. Oh, we do. I think we got some new ones, y'all. False alarm? Is it? Let's go back to his main page. There is an update. There is an update from NBC. Or maybe it was a false alarm. You know how sometimes they kind of be tricking a little bit. Okay. So this is just a little bit more context about those work duties. 1 minute ago, NBCnews.com, Marlena Linfang and Adam Rice. Mia said that she managed Diddy's social media presence, served as the main liaison between Diddy and Hollywood. So she was like a PR person. Managed his daily routine, kept him on a schedule, protected his privacy. She said she had to stay attached to her BlackBerry, stay within his eyesight, and anticipate his needs and whims and moods. Every single day is different. It can be 17,000 things at one time, ranging from cracking knuckles, doing taxes, or writing his next movie. He can also have you stand next to him for 24 hours and ask you not to do one thing. That's weird. That's really weird. That's very strange. Okay, less than a minute ago, she's back on the stand and the jury is entering. Let me get my little, hold on. Hold on. Order. Order in the court. Order. All rise. All right. These 10-minute breaks are like 17-minute breaks, but who's counting? Okay, they're back. All right, now there's a prosecutor. The prosecutor is still on direct examination. I anticipate direct examination is going to last the rest of the day, possibly even into tomorrow, but maybe it'll be over later this afternoon. I anticipate it's definitely going to be still on direct examination after lunch. Who knows? They're back. The assistant U.S. attorney says, all right, I'm going to turn your attention to Exhibit GX2A401. Who is this? Mia said, Cassie Ventura. Excuse me, Mrs. Fine. Don't you mean Mrs. Fine? How long did you know her? Oh, sorry. Excuse me. I just made up a word. I just invented a word that's not there. How did you know her? She said, I knew her from working for Puff and we became close friends. Are you still friends today with Cassie? Yes, we're still friends today. How was their relationship, Diddy and Cassie's? Mia said, highs and lows, but unequal. So they had an unequal relationship dynamic. It seems to be what she's kind of implying. All right, let's see if anybody else is on the beat yet. Nope. Just updating my different sources. If you're just joining, Mia is back on the stand after a brief 10-minute update. After a brief alleged 10-minute break, but it seems to have lost a little longer than 10 minutes. Court is back in session 5 minutes ago, 11:40, so 6 minutes ago. I like this one because it tells you the actual time, because right now the actual time is 11:46 a.m. and this was at 11:40, so 6 minutes. So 6 minutes they've been back on the stand, appearing under a pseudonym. Continue shortly. We got update from CNN. Less than a minute ago, CNN.com, Diddy's ex-assistant says that her and Cassie were like sisters. They were like best friends. We became like sisters, best friends. And she said they're still friends today. Was there violence in their relationship? Mia said, yes. We'll get back to that. What was Diddy's role with respect to Cassie's career? Mia said he decided on everything. Shows, the look. All right. The prosecutor says, I'm going to turn your attention to Exhibit 3T107R. What is this? Mia said it is mail from Cassie to Diddy and others, including me. So an email from Cassie to Diddy, but she CC'd people. And on the CC, it includes her. I'm I'm just refreshing through all our different sources. Oh, we do have a new one from Washington Post 2 minutes ago. Okay, Anne Brannigan from WashingtonPost.com says Diddy's personal assistant said she wasn't allowed to leave Diddy's side without his permission, and she was forbidden from locking her bedroom door. She once left Diddy's house after 2 a.m. while her employer was sleeping. She later received a call from Diddy's security staff who said they had been ordered to find her. She said she hardly saw anyone outside of Diddy's world. So this is why I call Washington Post my details queens. Somebody called them the lanyap ladies yesterday. I really did like that too, but I don't think people are going to understand what that means. They do give some more context a lot of times here. So she said, Mia had testified that she hardly saw anyone outside of Diddy's world as a result. As for the ban on locks, Diddy said, "This is my house. No one locks doors." Now, this after 2 a.m. leaving thing also reminded me of, who was it? David James or George Kaplan. One of these other assistants had said that he was smoking 420 outside Diddy's house one night. And it was like a nighttime and he thought Diddy was already asleep. And then Diddy came out and was like, "What are you doing?" And he was like, "Nothing." And Diddy's like, "If you're man enough to smoke, you're man enough to tell me the truth." And he was like, "Okay, I was smoking." And then Diddy was like, "Don't let it happen again." So this is another instance of like Diddy having like total control over people, and what they do in their free time. Now, I do think this is much more extreme. Maybe Diddy didn't want that, he could argue he didn't want that activity going on his front porch or his property or his outside or whatever. Okay, all right, breaking news. CNN.com less than 1 minute ago, ex-assistant describes relationship between Diddy and Cassie as, quote, toxic and abusive. Mia, one of Diddy's former assistants and an alleged victim, says she saw Diddy and Cassie together all the time when she was working. Their relationship was unequal and toxic. This is a quote, "It was a cycle of highs and lows," she said. He was abusive towards her. He was abusive towards her. I wonder if they object. All right. So if you will recall, the last thing that we talked about on Inner City Press was this Exhibit 3T107R, and the assistant U.S. attorney said, "What is this?" Mia said it's an email from Cassie to P. Diddy, plus other people. When did Cassie send this email? Well, it says 4 a.m. She says it was 4 a.m. It says 7, but we were in California. This was one of their hotel nights. Okay, so this is important. We were in California, so it was actually 4 in the morning, but it says 7 a.m. And this was one of the time they had a freak off. They were in a hotel. What did she write? Mia said that she was canceling. She's apologizing to Interscope and others. Okay, next question. Did Diddy respond to the email? If so, please read. Okay, so Mia says, Cassie wrote about telling Slevin Hill. Okay, next question. What did she mean? What do you think she meant, Slevin Hill? Well, Mia said, I think she meant Stephen Hill of BET. Cassie wrote, no support, no show. Okay, next question. Why did you forward this email to Tony Fletcher? Mia said, I had to keep her informed. She was in charge of booking hotels. Interesting. What is going on here? I need more context from my context people. Slevin Hill, supposed to be Stephen Hill. We got an update from CNN. 1 minute ago, CNN.com, Diddy had final say on many aspects of Cassie's career, former assistant says. He was in charge of Cassie's music career, and he always made the final decisions. Those decisions would, quote, okay, this is a long quote. Okay, this is the quote. The decisions would, quote, range anywhere from deciding like what music would be put out, the visual aspects of any music videos, when Cassie would be in the studio, her appearance, and any sort of shows or appearances or dates or promotions that she would be involved with. Mia said she was privy to a lot of the goings on in Diddy's label business because people would contact her to get answers from Diddy. Interesting. She knew a lot of stuff going on in the label business because people would reach out to her. They'd be like, "Can you ask Diddy so and so such and such?" She said she also often sat in on meetings with Diddy and Cassie that occurred concerning Cassie's career. So this is how she got that information. We got Sky News giving us more quotes. Okay, this is more quotes about her working conditions. She was on the stand for about an hour. She alleged she was SA'd by Diddy on more than one occasion. She told the court she would often work on every little step. Oh, sorry. She would often work on very little sleep, including one occasion, which lasted 5 days. The court heard about some of her duties while working for the hip hop mogul, which included managing his daily routine. She said she had to stay attached to her Blackberry. She had to stay within Diddy's eyesight, anticipate his needs and whims and moods. Every single day is different. It can be 17,000 things at one time. Range from doing taxes to writing his next movie. He can also have you stand next to him for 24 hours and ask you not to do one thing. All right, we got another new tweet from Inner City Press. Question, did you ever see Diddy on a movie set? Yes, and he would be very nervous. He would insert himself, like on one of Cassie's movie sets, I guess, like her acting. What was Diddy's role with respect to Cassie's appearance? Oh, he was in charge of it, Mia said. Did you have any exposure to Cassie's finances? Mia said, yes. Just gonna sort through these other sources. We got a new one 4 minutes ago, Washington Post, Anne Brannigan. Several of Diddy's employees have described the complicated relationship they had with Diddy, who has been described as a person who could build them up and also shock and disturb them. The former assistant testifying under the pseudonym Mia recounted a similar workplace dynamic, noting that the highs were really high, but the lows were really, really low. When things got bad on the job, Diddy once delivered an awesome pep talk that encouraged her to prove herself to him. Okay. This is very interesting. We're getting into finances, everybody. Which also circles back around to the Britney Spears part of the web, in my opinion. Okay, so did you have exposure to Cassie's finances was the last question. She said yes. How did you have exposure to Cassie's finances? She said, I learned the company paid her credit cards and that the places where she lived were actually under company names. I also learned her cars were in company names. Did Diddy ever take things away from Cassie? Mia says, oh yeah, cars, jewelry, support, if he couldn't get her on the phone. So he would do these things if she just didn't answer the phone, he would start taking stuff from her house, her car, or like apartment, car, jewelry. Here's another picture of Deontay Nash. He's cool. He is funny. He had the jury laughing. He had the jury laughing. He had the courtroom, the gallery laughing. People were loving Deontay. Okay. Mia continues testifying. She says, Diddy would keep tabs on Cassie through me. Okay, next question. Was it part of your job to spend this time with Cassie? She said, yeah, I had to do whatever Diddy told me to do. Question, could you go where you wanted to go? She said, no, we had to be where Diddy told us to be. Wow. Or where we could be. Okay, we're finally getting the extra context I was looking for. Cassie, less than a minute ago, CNN.com, Cassie told Diddy in email she could not perform due to lack of support. The jury was shown an email Cassie sent in April 2012. So what's going on in 2012? This is right 2 months after the Kid Cudi car boom boom. And like 3 months after the break-in to Kid Cudi house. The jury was shown an email Cassie sent in April 2012 to Diddy, Mia, Capricorn Clark, and others involved in her music career. She said in part, quote, I have been informed that I cannot perform on Monday due to overages and costs. I have worked very hard, but I cannot support myself on the things that I need in order to move forward and make this show happen and run smoothly. Diddy responded to the email by telling her to reach out to another executive, saying she wasn't ready and she doesn't want to embarrass herself again. Cassie responded, if that were the issue, I would. So since you no longer want to support your artist, I have to pull out. No label, no support. No label support, no show. So Cassie was trying to get support for her show and they were not supporting her. So she's like, no one's helping me. So I'm not doing the show. Diddy responds and he's like, reach out to a different executive. You're not ready and you don't want to embarrass yourself again. She said, if that was the issue, I would. So since you no longer want to support me, your artist, remember this is Cassie emailing Diddy, but she's CCing everyone else. I have to pull out. No label support, no show. Okay. We have another update from CNN.com. Cassie has to get Diddy's approval for her outfits, nails, and hairstyles. She said when Diddy would visit set, even when Cassie was shooting a movie, production would stop. Okay, so if they're mid-production, they're in the middle of shooting a movie, Diddy would show up and visit, everything stopped. Everyone would be really nervous. Mia testified, quote, he would ask a lot of questions and sort of insert himself. He was in charge of Cassie's appearance. Mia said she would send photos of Cassie's outfits, hairstyles, and nails. This is the personal assistant. So the personal assistant would send, this is Enterprise, this is Rico. So where's my guy? He needs to give me $5 more. He needs to give me $5 more. Here's the evidence right here of the Rico. Where's my $5? What was his name? Mia said she would send photos of her outfits to Diddy. Well, Diddy's using the Enterprise to control what Cassie looks like. Right? That's one piece of evidence. Where's my $5? At the salon to get his approval, Diddy would ask Mia to send the photos. He would ask for it. He would demand these photos. Another update. She says Diddy would take away Cassie's car or jewelry to punish her. Take away items like car, jewelry, quote, all the time when he got upset with her, according to the former assistant who is testifying under the pseudonym Mia. Okay. We got two. Thank you, Tiff. I don't know if Tiff Talks 22 is in this chat, but we had the same idea at the same time. She said, I better not see, not near, not one other person. That's my translation. Not near, not one other person. Talking about asking about where's the Rico. Thank you. Tiff Talks 22. Okay, so the next tweet we have here. So the most recent thing we read was, could you go anywhere you wanted? That was a question. Answer, no. We had to be where Diddy told us we could be. And if y'all weren't where Diddy told you could be, she said something very scary. The punishment was unpredictable, but terrifying. The assistant U.S. attorney said, okay, we'll talk about some more of that as we get through your testimony. But for now, let me ask another question. How would Diddy communicate with Cassie? Mia said, well, sometimes it was through me. Did you ever see with your own eyes any violence? She said, yeah. And if so, what kind? She said, I saw a lot of aftermaths and injuries. I've seen him attack her and throw her on the ground. I've seen him crack her head open. I've seen him chase her, things like that. Did she ever fight back? No. She hits that fetal position. That's what we've heard from time again. What did you hear and see? She said suitcases being thrown into the foyer or the foyer. Did you ever see Cassie after that? Yeah. Or did you see Cassie after the suitcases being thrown incident? She said, yeah, she was outside crying in a bush. She looked terrified. She gestured, I'm hiding. I'm not here. What did you do? She said, retreated. I didn't want to blow up her spot. Did you ever tell anyone? She said, I think the chef was in the kitchen. The sentiment was like, objection, Your Honor, objection. Brian Steele, objection. The judge is like, okay, yeah, we can't talk about sentiments. What did the chef say to you? Objection, Your Honor. And the assistant U.S. attorney tried to keep it in, but the judge actually agreed. So not allowing this in. What did the chef say to you? So she's not going to be allowed to answer that question. We got an update on CNN. Less than a minute ago, CNN.com ex-assistant testifies Diddy controlled when she and Cassie could spend time together. So Diddy controlled whenever the Mia and Cassie, they became friends, remember? So they want to be friends, but Diddy still controlled how much they could see each other and how much time they spent together. She said she spent as much time as she was allowed to with Cassie. Diddy would dictate when Mia could spend time with Cassie, but it was usually just to keep tabs on her or get in touch with her through Mia. Mia said that she and Cassie were not allowed to go where they wanted, when they were together. She said when they did do something without Diddy's permission, something bad, quote, very scary would happen. Punishment was typically unpredictable, but typically pretty terrifying. Another update, CNN.com less than a minute ago, Diddy's security would sometimes show up if Cassie didn't answer Diddy's calls. She said that Diddy would reach out to Cassie repeatedly whenever Cassie and Diddy were not together. If Cassie didn't answer, there would be multiple people calling, texting, emailing, trying to find her, or security would show up. They would show up. They would track her down, right? It's just domestic violence. I didn't see anything but domestic violence. Okay, well, what about the security tracking her down? What domestic abuser has a security team tracking people down? It seems like a little bit different. And then the security team is working for Bad Boy. I don't know. Looks like Rico to me. Innocent until proven guilty. Okay. What happened in Cassie's apartment? So we did hear about this already. Maybe it was a different incident. Because I thought they were getting ready to go to some festival. So it's like they don't remember exactly where they were going. Okay, so what happened in Cassie's apartment? She said, well, we were there. Me, so Mia, Cassie, and Deontay Nash. Where were you going? Mia said, what were you doing? We were there at her apartment. What were you doing? We were helping Cassie pack for a big trip to London. Diddy came banging on the door, very irate. How did he get in? A key from the front desk. This seems like a different incident that Deontay did not testify about. Unless it's just the same incident and the stories don't add up, which would be a problem for the prosecution. Let's see if we got any updates here on the Sky News. No, I don't think so. All right. So we do have an update from Sky News from 7 minutes ago. Mia says Diddy let her work with Cassie to keep tabs on Cassie. She's now being asked about Cassie, the victim one, to give evidence. While Cassie waived her right to anonymity and was named in court, Mia has not been identified, and she's using a pseudonym. She tells the court she became like sisters with Cassie. They're still friends today. Cassie and Diddy had the highs and lows. She tells the court that Diddy was abusive towards Cassie and that Diddy was, quote, in charge of Cassie's music career. She tells the court, echoing testimony given by Cassie and other witnesses during the trial so far. She says Diddy made decisions about Cassie's music, her music videos, the studio time, appearances, promotions, and he was very involved in her acting career. She told the court she saw Diddy on the set of the film The Perfect Match in 2015. And this was the one where her premiere was going to come out. And it was right before the premiere. Diddy was trying to do a freak off and she did it. But then she was like, I'm not trying to get messed up before my premiere. And then she was trying to go to the premiere and all of that. So this is the filming for that movie the year before. Diddy would ask a lot of questions and insert himself. And the reason is obvious to me, in my opinion, because it was a love story. It was like a romantic comedy. And this Cassie's got her booty out. She's got, rolling around in the sheets with this man, kissing him in the pool. I mean, it's a romantic comedy. So here's Diddy just making sure nobody's, answering questions about Cassie's finances. She told the court she was aware Diddy's company, Bad Boy Records, paid for Cassie's home and cars. The prosecutor asked if Mia ever saw Diddy taking stuff away that he had paid for. And Mia said all the time, her car, jewelry, support. Cassie would let it happen, she testified. Mia says it was Diddy who decided if she could spend time with Cassie and said he would ask her to carry out tasks such as helping with packing. So it's like, yeah, you can hang out with Cassie, but you got to help her pack. This is a quote. A lot of times it was to keep tabs on her and let him check up on her through me. We could not go wherever we wanted when we wanted. There's another update here. I've seen him crack her head open. Mia testifies about alleged abuse of Cassie. She said, okay, so the question was, what would happen when you or Cassie did something without Diddy's permission? It would be bad. This is the quote. It would be bad, serious. We would get in trouble. The punishment was unpredictable and terrifying. If Cassie didn't answer Diddy's calls, she would have multiple people calling and texting her, and security would show up too if they couldn't find her. Smizer asks if Combs and Cassie had a violent relationship, and she told the court, yeah, I saw a lot of the aftermath and the injuries that she had. She told the court that she witnessed Diddy attacking Cassie and throwing her to the ground. Quote, I've seen him crack her head open. Did you see her fight back? No. Mia told the court she once saw Cassie hiding in a bush outside crying and says, quote, "She looked at me with a terrified look in her eye." She says she saw or heard incidents of violence at different locations, including Cassie's apartment and hotels. Less than a minute ago, CNN.com, former employee, says Diddy frequently attacked Cassie. She saw signs of violence in the relationship all the time and often saw Cassie's injuries afterward. She's testifying under a pseudonym. She said she saw Diddy attack Cassie, throw her to the ground, chase her, and crack her head open. She testified that she never saw Cassie fight back. "I've just seen her with her arms up for him to stop, putting her arms up for him to stop." We're going back to Inner City Press. Okay. We have, I think, 3 new texts. So this is back to the incident where Cassie and Deontay, who just finished testifying, as well as Mia, were all packing at Cassie's apartment. Packing for a big trip to London. Diddy came banging on the door. How did he get in? Key from the front desk. All right. And what was Diddy asking Cassie? Well, he said, "Have you been drinking or something?" Because she hadn't answered his calls. What did Diddy do? He came after me and Deontay, screaming, "Has she been drinking?" He was very aggressive. He attacked her. He threw her to the ground, and me and Deontay jumped in and tried to stop it. "What did you do?" Mia said, "Well, Deontay is very small in comparison to Puff. There was a little tornado going on. He and Deontay were in a position where I was scared he was going to unalive him. So I jumped on Diddy, but he threw me off and against the wall. I felt like I was in slow motion. I realized we were in big danger. He ran into the bedroom and he grabbed Cassie. Under her bed is this wood bed platform. He slammed her head into the corner." This is despicable. What injuries did Cassie get? Her head was gushing blood. What did Diddy do? Oh, all of a sudden he went into protector survivor mode. He said, "Call the doctor, so-and-so. Call Dr. So-and-so and tell them Cassie was drunk and hit her head." Why did you do that? She said, "Puff told me to." That was when she went to the plastic surgery. Who is Dr. So-and-so? I need to know the name. 1 minute ago, we get another update from CNN. Ex-assistant describes the first time she saw signs of violence between Cassie and Diddy, or Diddy and Cassie. The first time she saw signs of violence was at his home in LA. She heard thuds against the wall coming from the second floor bedroom. Then she saw suitcases flying over the railing to the foyer below. Mia saw Cassie hiding behind a bush outside. She was crying and shaking. She had the most terrified look in her eyes. She waved her hands to signal, "I'm not here." So Mia wouldn't reveal where she was hiding. So Mia didn't like blow up Cassie's spot or whatever. Okay. 6 minutes ago, NBCnews.com, Adam Rice, Ying Fang, and David K. Lee. Combs inserted himself into the perfect match set. He fancied himself as a pseudo director while Cassie was shooting. And this is reminding me of what happened with one of his sons that was on like Empire or whatever, but he couldn't even be on it because it was like Diddy was inserting himself into the contract negotiations. Allegedly, I don't know. I wasn't there. That's just what's been reported. Diddy was often on set and would, quote, insert himself into the production, asking all sorts of questions and making suggestions about Cassie's hairstyle, wardrobe, and even her nails, Mia recalled. 4 minutes ago, if Mia and Cassie did something without Diddy's permission, the punishment was unpredictable and terrifying. It would be bad, serious. Me and Cassie would get into trouble. The punishment was unpredictable and terrifying. if Cassie didn't pick up the call, multiple people would call and text. She said she saw a lot of the aftermath of Cassie getting hurt. I've seen him crack her head open. She didn't recall ever seeing Cassie fight back, ever. This is like the third or fourth person. Oh, my Lord. This is the third or fourth person we've heard testifying about this. Eyes were black. Yeah. Okay, so what happened when Cassie's head started gushing blood? He got into protector survivor mode. So he switched. He did an alter switch. I'm not a doctor, y'all. And so he told me to call Dr. So-and-so and that Cassie had hit her head because she was drunk. So this happens also to like other celebrities. It's like whenever they're getting hurt, it gets blamed on them. Like, oh, they were drunk. Oh, they were on drugs. When it's like, no, they weren't. You were drugging them or whatever, right? So she was drunk, but apparently she wasn't actually drunk. Or I don't know. That hasn't been answered. But Diddy was like, don't tell him I beat the hell out of Cassie. Just tell him she fell and hit her head because she was drunk. Why did you do that? Mia said, because Diddy told me to. His eyes were black. It was like he was looking through me. He was like completely. The judge said, okay, let's do the next question. That's enough. Because they've already said that he looked devilish, that he looked possessed. He was transfixed. That first witness that the whole trial said he looked devilish whenever he got in that mood. Cassie would say his eyes would go black and blank. Okay, fine. Next question. Did you ever see Diddy take substances? Yes. When he was on substances, how did he appear? Well, sometimes, Mia says, he was the life of the party, like hyper. Where was this? She said, well, for example, like at Burning Man or like Ibiza or like music conferences. When Diddy smashed Cassie's head that day, did he seem high? No, he did not, Mia says. Because remember, what is the defense trying to argue? Diddy was a drug addict on drugs. He was jealous. He had a toxic, abusive relationship, and he was a woman beater, but he didn't RICO and he didn't ST. It was all consensual. But he had a drug problem and he took care of it. So look, here's the prosecutor going, all right, hold, just real quick. That day, whenever he popped her eyebrow open, was he high? Did he seem like it to you? Mia said no. He seemed happy and hyper when he would get it, when he would get like that. Now we're getting that famous Prince private performance birthday party situation thing again. Whoa, this is crazy. What year did Whitney Houston die? Yep. Remember when Cassie brought up, is that right around the time Whitney Houston died? And it was like, why did she drop that little Easter egg? Because, you know, Clive Davis, Diddy's mentor, he was there at the hotel party the night that Whitney Houston died. I've heard. I don't know. I wasn't there. I've seen this reported. Y'all can look it up yourself and make up your own mind. But Diddy's kind of like one of his mentors, the guy who let him come from out from under Andre Harrell to start Bad Boy Records on his own was not Andre Harrell, excuse me. Oh man, it starts with an A. Why am I blanking? Uptown Records, whatever. I don't remember the guy's name. Andre Harrell and I don't remember. Uptown. The Diddy left Uptown. He was able to start in 1993 or so Bad Boy Records because, in part, Clive Davis gave him a bunch of money. Clive Davis was with Arista. He was with LaFace or something like that. Or maybe he wasn't with LaFace. That was L.A. Reid. Maybe it was L.A. Reid, Babyface, and Clive Davis. Anyway, whatever the case may be, Clive Davis kind of financially supported Diddy opening Bad Boy. So Clive Davis was there at the party, at a Grammy party or something, when Whitney Houston died, like 2 floors below. I have a video on that coming eventually, but probably after the Diddy trial because it's just too much going on. But look, did you go to Prince's party? Mia said, yes, she was there. Remember Cassie said she went to Prince's party with somebody and Carrie and Mia or whatever, and Diddy was there. What happened the night before? A big awards ceremony. A suite in the Beverly. Oh my God, y'all. Watch Whitney Houston and Britney Spears come up in this. I don't think they're going to come up in this trial necessarily, but they may come up in relation to this trial in their own trials, if you know what I mean. Okay. The night before the Prince party, remember Cassie said in her testimony, is that around the time Whitney Houston died? Cassie also talked about Britney Spears and said that Diddy invited her to the party, not her. Okay, next tweet. Diddy told me to stay with Cassie, that he was going to be at his house with his kids. But then I heard about Prince's party. Okay, question. What did you do when you heard about Prince's party? Well, me and Cassie debated, like little kids, if we should sneak out of the house and go to Prince's party. Prince performed on a little table. Then I saw Diddy come in with his bucket hat. We locked eyes. I thought, oh, crap. Cassie just booked it. And where did you go? She said across the street. There were woods or bushes, but Diddy caught Cassie and had her on the ground. He started to attack her, but Prince's security quickly intervened. Thank you, Prince's security, a real man on the scene. And then what happened? Mia said, I went to another hotel, not the one Cassie was staying at. The next day, HR told me Diddy was suspending me without pay. He was cutting my paycheck off. Did HR tell you why your paycheck was getting cut off? Yeah. Diddy said I was being insubordinate. So really think about that, y'all. This is so far beyond domestic violence. Even if your personal assistant went with your wife or your girlfriend or whatever to a party, that is not a reason to fire someone and not give them any notice and any warning. Just simply going to a party. We're not talking about cheating. We're not talking about an affair. We're not talking about leaving the country. They went to a freaking party while Diddy was at his house. That is the level of control we're talking about, if true. 2 new updates from CNN. Ex-assistant testifies Diddy attacked Cassie in her apartment. They were at Cassie's apartment helping pack for an upcoming trip. Diddy showed up at the apartment banging on the door. Came inside screaming, "Have you been drinking?" She said Diddy was crazy aggressive and began to attack Cassie by throwing her to the ground. This is a quote. Quote, me and Deontay immediately jumped in and tried to stop it. We were both just trying to get him off of her. At some point, he and Deontay were in like a position where I was like scared he was going to unalive him, and I jumped on his back. He threw me against the wall so quick and so easily, and I realized we were in real danger. Oh, man. Mia said she witnessed multiple assaults by Diddy on Cassie. She said Cassie never fought back during multiple violent attacks. In one particularly disturbing incident, Mia found Cassie hiding from Diddy outside in some bushes with a terrified look in her eyes. We have another update from CNN. The court took a break for lunch, and they're going to come back at 1:15. Let's circle up with all of the inner city press tweets. Uh-oh. Okay, so they did break for lunch, but then the jury left, and then they're fighting. The girls are fighting, the boys are fighting inside the courtroom. Are you surprised? I am not. The judge says, okay, take a break. The jury leaves. They go out to eat their lunch. And the judge says to the assistant U.S. attorney, how much longer do you have with this witness on your direct examination? She says, all day, like I told you already. She said, also, we want to have her off the stand by the end of the week. That's our schedule. Diddy's attorney, Agnifilo, pipes in. No, Your Honor, this is a problem. First, we had the flight with the last witness. Now we have this. The judge said, chill out, Mark Agnifilo. I haven't cut anything yet. Just relax. He said, I let Mr. Donaldson take the time he wanted. Agnifilo said, I'm not blaming the court. It's just a pattern I'm seeing from the assistant U.S. attorney. The judge said, no, it's a common courtesy. You don't want to have witnesses on the stand for longer than they need to be on the stand because they're leaving their lives and their jobs. Relax. Agnifilo said, well, I don't know how long Brian Steele's cross-examination is going to be. So why isn't Brian Steele making this objection? They don't need to put these things in the record. So now Diddy's attorneys are popping back and saying that it's now no longer Diddy that's drawing things out. He's saying now it's the prosecution is just drawing this stuff out for no reason. But the judge is like, look, don't come for me unless I send for you, because I let y'all have the time you wanted with this guy. I let y'all have Deontay Nash. I let y'all keep him up here. I let y'all keep him longer than his flight. I made the assistant U.S. attorney reschedule his flight. So what are you bitching about? Excuse my language. Well, and then Agnifilo is like, I don't even know how long it's going to be. Maybe it's like, maybe he's complaining for no reason. One new update from NBC. Witness testifies 1 minute ago. This is Adam Rice, Ying Fang, and David K. Lee. Witness testifies Cassie left with forehead scar after bed frame incident. Diddy attacked Cassie in her LA apartment. She testified she tried to stop the beating. It was so fast, but I felt like it was in slow motion. I saw him grab Cassie and I couldn't get there fast enough. This is a quote. The bed platform was the sharpest I had ever seen, and he threw her and she hit her head right there on the corner of the bed. The witness continued, quote, she had a pretty big scar on her forehead. It was split open and blood was coming out. Diddy's eyes turned black. The legion fully possessed him after attacking Cassie. It was a pretty significant gash. Rather than go to a hospital for stitches, Diddy's security took her to a plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills. Wonder if it's the one that just did Kris Jenner's face, because that is not a surgeon. That is a magician. Mia recalls the three of them were packing for a trip. Diddy arrived banging on the door, very angry. He was screaming, and he said that he came after her, and Deontay started to attack her, threw Cassie to the ground. I'm in a position where I was scared he was going to unalive him. We were in real danger. It was the sharpest bed frame I ever even saw, and he threw her, and she hit her head on it. It was split open, and blood was coming out. His eyes turned black. She says this is the first time she realized that they were all in extreme danger. Okay, listen, the judge, he has his receipts and he has his reasonings. He looks over to Agnifilo, who clearly has his blood pressure and his cortisol going up through the roof. And he looks over at Agnifilo and he's like, look, if we can complete this witness this week, that would be great. It keeps things moving. And the assistant U.S. attorney, this is Maureen Comey now, says, Your Honor, many of our witnesses are flying from across the country. We need to know for flights next week, for Monday. Mr. Nash's cross-examination was twice as long as our direct examination. So they kept him twice as long on the cross-examination by the defense as they did with the prosecution. And it does have to do with like the parity of time. We'll see what the judge ends up saying. I'm just refreshing here. See if we have anything new on CNN. Oh, Washington Post. They usually give little updates from the lunch break. Nothing here. Oh, we got an update from NBC. Mia recalled an incident in 2012 when she and Cassie went out to a party without Diddy's permission. They were all in a suite. Okay, so we're getting more details about that Prince party night, which I'm very interested in. They were all in a suite at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and Diddy had directed Mia to stay with Cassie there as he was going to be with his kids. And he said, y'all stay here in this hotel and don't leave. Mia said a friend called and said Prince was having a party. And she and Cassie, like little kids, snuck out of the house. They went to Prince's party and they were having fun. Then Diddy showed up. And he was probably just mad that he got busted because he said he was going to go be with his kids, but really he was going to Prince's party. He's probably mad that he got busted. So then it has to be like, oh, now you're in trouble. Rah, rah, beat, beat, kick, kick, slam, slam, Diddy smash. Quote, I saw his bucket hat coming through the entrance. We locked eyes and crap. Cass and I started running through the house to get out across the yard, trying to run and hide there. Puff caught Cass. He caught up to her and had her, threw her to the ground and started to attack her. Mia said Prince's security intervened. The next day, Mia was notified she was being suspended without pay for insubordination. Please. Ugh. This is why I don't want a boss. If anybody even uses the word insubordination around me, I might bomb. Okay. We have another update from Inner City Press. They're arguing about this witness, Mr. Steele, because this is the assistant U.S. attorney. Your Honor, Mr. Steele, that's Brian Steele, told us he anticipates his cross-examination being an hour and a half or 2 hours. And in no event longer than the direct examination, but not to hold him to it. The judge looks over at Brian Steele and says, I do want to keep on schedule. Then Brian Steele's like, how late you willing to stay? The judge said 4 p.m. at the absolute latest. We're not going to be doing 5 o'clock. We have another update from NBC. The direct examination is supposed to last the rest of the day. Brian Steele said he had like an hour to 2 hours of cross-examination. So this witness should be done by the end of the day, Friday. But Brian Steele was like, oh, but don't hold me to it. I still can't believe we heard yesterday about, what's his name? Brian Friedman. I already read that. Let's see, Inner City Press. Okay. The judge is like, I'm not really about to entertain y'all acting a fool in here. It should be done by Friday. Let's keep it moving. That lets us get the next witness on the stand Monday morning. Okay. So let me do some of these. Thank you so much, Stacy, for the $10 super chat. Thank you, Nikki, for the £5 super chat. Smash that like and show your girl love. Thank you again, BJ. Love from Scotland. Oh my gosh, yes, Slay. I want a kilt. Do girls wear kilts? Thank you so much, Ebony, for the $2 super chat. The Kid Cudi event happened in 2016. No, it was 2011 and 2012, I thought. 2011 and 2012, I think. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Thank you, Kim, for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Princess Joyce. Question, will the docket have Mia's full information once this trial is over? I don't think so. I think her identity is going to forever be a secret from the public, but I also think that someone's going to leak who this person is. It's going to come out. I'm not leaking it. I'm going to respect the court's rules because I'm not trying to get sued. I'm trying to go to be held in contempt of court or something. But I think somebody is going to leak it, who it is. I think it'll be common knowledge in probably a few weeks, if not literally today. Probably not today. It'll probably be after she gets off the stand. Thank you for the $9.99 super chat. A lady, thank you for the $1.99. Oh, we got another update. Let me read the updates as they come in. I don't want to get too much behind. Prince's security. I want him to call Prince's security. He caught up to her, had her on the ground. Ex-employee testified. Okay, so we already did read most of that. Okay. Curious, no mentions of the kids around all this. Indeed, a lady. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. It is curious. Period, cousin. 1 of 1. Tell him Sensei 7. Thank you for the $1.99. Exactly. I'm 1 of 1. I'm the only one that can do this exactly like this. There's no competition for me. You cannot compete with me. No one can. But I'm not trying to compete with anybody else either. They're 1 of 1 too. Like, I do see it that way. Thank you, JW, for the $10 super chat. Wow, this is like your 4th super chat today. Lou tried to end you. Here you are, full-time reporting on her and her biggest client. And today, oh my God, the demons. News had headlines today. Diddy making millions, renting his jet while in jail. The jet is managed by I did talk about that at the beginning of the video today. Yes, I've been covering it the last 2 days. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Thank you, Salty Biscuit. Diddy thinks he's Whitey Bulger. Is that one of the gangsters from Atlantic City or something? Or Chicago or something? Thanks so much for the $1.99 super chat. Thank you, LTD, for the $4.99. Cousins, I just got the notification here. A few dollars for some tea filled with the ancestors' love and protection. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, LTD. Cousin, where it is, Diddy was a monster to the UCLA football staff of 2015. Diddy was arrested after a confrontation at UCLA where one of his sons played football. It was Justin. He told him he couldn't go to Harvard. So they let him on the team at UCLA, right? Assault charges were later dropped. Thanks so much for the $9.99 super chat. Sports talk, highlights, and more. Thank you for the $4.99. Shout out to you. Thank you, Brittany. Shout out to you for being a member for 1 month. He seems sober, but I wonder if he's a functioning addict. I wonder if his pupils are just dilated all the time because he's not justifying his behavior. I've wondered that. I wondered if it's like he's on like some like pupil dilators. Thanks, Sports Talk, for the $4.99 super chat. We found Mia Sarah Sendecker. She and Diddy executive producing a show. I wonder if that's true. I wouldn't encourage everybody to Google it. Like I told y'all, I'm trying to respect thank you for the $4.99. I'm trying to respect the privacy. I'm trying to follow the rules. I'm trying to not get in trouble over here. Okay. So, Whitey was an MK Ultra victim? Like an actual one? Or it's like speculated? Because some stuff with MK Ultra is speculation and some of it's like actually out there. So is this one of those actually out there things? That's crazy. All right, y'all. It's about 30 more minutes. I'm going to take a break and then I'm going to be back in a little while at 1:15 to finish my coverage in a second video. So I'll see y'all then. Probably after I'm not feeling sick anymore, I'll probably just be going straight through the break all day. But I need to take care of my voice. I need to take care of my nutrition. I need to take care of my health, or else I'm not going to be able to continue doing this. So I'll see y'all in just a few minutes, like 30 minutes. Meantime, if facts ain't defamation, neither are opinions. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.